I've been the host for like the last like 20 episodes, I'll continue the trend.
Oh,
That's fine. It's cool.
No, that's fine. I'll start it over. Okay?
That's cool.
No, I got this.
That's cool.
All right, cool. Hold on.
okay.
And welcome
What's
back
going
to
on, everyone? This is the Popcorn Heroes Show.
Wait. What are you doing?
What? What are you talking about?
I'm the host.
No, you're not.
Nigga, you haven't been on for like weeks.
I haven't been on for 2 days.
So welcome back to another episode
Now,
of
what's
Popcorn
going on,
Heroes.
everyone? This is the Popcorn Heroes. You have a first timer here. Very special day.
And I saw,
Popping his Popcorn Heroes cherry.
I am Armando, your host. The fake host, Orlando.
I am your host, Orlando.
The one who's always here, Pedro.
yo.
And the number one voice actor, David. What's up, David?
Hi, it's great to be here.
What's going on, man? Loving it.
Thanks.
David's gonna blow up soon. This is the first podcast he's made, or is it? Right?
It sure is.
Nice.
Yeah.
Woo,
Damn.
we got him early, guys.
We got him.
early.
Got him.
Yeah. David, from now on, when everyone says, "What was your first podcast?" you have to say Popcorn Heroes.
And they're gonna go, what the fuck are you talking about? It's like,
So
it's just this local.
this quaint
This
Miami,
quaint.
this quaint Miami podcast.
Tiny unknown podcast.
Wait,
Local. It's got like 20 listeners.
sidebar. I just noticed your watch. What is it?
Fitbit.
Oh, it's a Fitbit.
Yeah.
I know you have one. You got free?
No, I got it from work. Discount.
Discount,
Pedro
baby.
has a free one.
I got the free one
got
at
free
work. They thought we were getting too fat sitting down, so they said Fitbit, and then the next week was coronavirus, so they're like back to getting fat.
Just get it real.
All right, ladies and gents, on today's show, we're gonna be talking about our top 10 video games of the decade.
The decade.
Orlando, since you were the fake host, you could go first.
Oh, okay. So we're not doing in any particular order.
No particular
particular order.
in no particular system. Everything's of even
Unless you want to, Orlando. If you want to make it top 10,
Nah, so I got
Go for it.
I got 10 in no particular order, and then I have 5 honorable mentions that we'll get to towards the end of
Nice.
the episode.
I got a lot of honorable
So-
mentions.
so essentially, here goes our list.
All right, so
For the most part, we'll see.
I'm just gonna read it down the list. Like I said, no order. So starting off, number 10, The Last of Us.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's on your list somewhere.
Oh, for sure.
Well, that is the only game I ranked at number 1.
So he did rank. He ranked a 10th of his list.
Yeah. So
That game is amazing, man.
yeah, phenomenal game. Just really, they're making an HBO series out of it currently.
Boo.
Well, I'm excited because it's a show.
Right.
I feel like if a video game is gonna be any type of other format than a video game, it has to be a show.
Right.
Agreed. But
Look, if you look at Castlevania, great show. Animation wise, whatever, but it's still a show and it's very fascinating. It's amazing. So if they're going to make a video game adaptation of anything, it has to be a show because you allow yourself to put all the the little tidbits that happens on in the story that you could maybe even expand upon and all this other crap, which just makes it pretty cool. So I like the fact that they're making the show.
Yeah,
Let's see
but
if it's actually good.
But one of these, this is like one of the first games that I can think of that, like, aside from Uncharted, obviously, but it's when like video games started getting taken serious as a story, as an art form. Because I mean, we've had stories in video games forever, but normally they're not this
Good
deep.
enough.
Yeah, not this deep, not at this caliber. And the Last of Us, regardless of like how you feel about it, I mean, I never heard anyone say anything negative about The Last of Us. So it's just a great story in terms of like just character arc and storytelling and even the gameplay. Like, it's one of the first games, in my opinion, that every enemy encounter made sense in terms of the story. Like, there wasn't an enemy encounter, and I felt like the last Uncharted 4 did the same thing, where like they explained the reason why you're getting attacked.
Yeah.
And I felt like the same thing happened in The Last of Us.
It's because they learned from Last of Us.
Right, you're talking about not like an Uncharted where it's just an endless wave of random enemies, and you're like, who the fuck are these people?
And in Last of Us, you're literally walking, and then you're like, oh shit, scavengers, and you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense because you're literally in a deserted world, people are scavenging, and then in the side of the game, like attack people, and then you realize that the people who are coming after you are talking about the ambush that you did or the attack that you did.
And that was pretty cool.
And that's pretty fucking cool because they know who you are.
Yeah.
It's not like random people are like, oh, let me just shoot you.
Yeah.
They're looking for you.
Yeah.
So every time you have an encounter with somebody, it made fucking sense.
And hopefully they expand upon that in the new one.
Yeah. So it was like just the first game that I truly felt like immersed in the world and in like the city, the dialogue, the characters. So yeah,
And the combat wise, like the gameplay, I really enjoyed it. Where you have to kind of like scavenge for supplies in order to create your weapons and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like everything is scarce. So you can't spam something.
Right.
Because if you spam something, you're out of it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I love that idea of like, you have to
You have to conserve those 2
conserve
bullets.
your stuff. Yeah.
right. And it's one of those games as well, like where you're like, you have to be strategic in the way of like, okay, do I kill this guy and alert everybody else, or do I kill his clicker and then like they all come after me, like, or do I try to take him out with bats and knives? It's just overall just a phenomenal like game in terms of like just combat as well. Like, yeah, I can't really think of anything wrong with that game, especially at the end. Like at the end,
Yeah.
where like
Where you make that choice.
Well, you make a choice, but
Well,
it's
you're
not
not-
really.
it's
It's
not a
not really a
choice.
choice, and
Yeah.
you have to do it regardless.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say spoilers, gentlemen.
Yeah, but I mean,
we
for
can-
like what?
Dude, it's been years already.
years, and
guys.
we're still not really in spoiler territory.
Wait,
but
wait.
still,
So David, as our resident PC Master Race player, have you ever played Last of Us?
I have not.
Okay, cool.
Do you wanna
So you
play
see,
it?
so you see, spoilers. Stay away.
Wait, do you want to play it, David?
Eventually, yeah.
Okay. You know what you could play that's coming soon that's going to be one of our lists. When I get there, I'll tell you about it.
Okay.
how you know it's going to be on our
Okay.
list? Or was it on your list then?
Yeah, for sure. It's on
Maybe-
my list. It
maybe-
is definitely on your list.
Oh, okay.
Anyways.
Nigga, you don't know me. You know what's on my list.
So, you know what's pretty cool? So, you know, since the show's going to be made on HBO, somebody fan casted Joel and Ellie. So they fan casted Joel to be Jamie Lannister.
Okay, I can see that.
I'm cool with that.
And Ellie, right? To be the girl from that movie that just came out, the Booksmart, the skinny girl, the main skinny girl,
Oh, I can see that.
as
Yeah.
Ellie.
I can see that. Yeah.
Cool.
And I was just like, huh.
Because everyone with Arya and Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not gonna happen. But those are 2 people that definitely could do it because they're both show people.
Yeah, and they're already
HBO is part of the family because of Game of Thrones.
right, and he's already he's already for sure part of the family already.
Yeah.
So like they already have him in like, contact.
Yeah,
So,
for sure. Yeah. He's the HBO family, so
Yeah.
it makes sense. I was like, man, I can see that.
I can see
And
that.
That's pretty cool. I could see that going a good way.
Yeah. And also like the multiplayer of that game is also really fun.
Oh my god, the multiplayer, it changed up the way I saw multiplayer.
Yeah.
Because it was not like any other multiplayer games. Like, you know, other multiplayer games, you have to rush and kill and keep on. Like, no, this you have to be stealthy, be careful what's happening. And I really loved how they use the actual gameplay from the game into the multiplayer. And I thought that was pretty
And
interesting.
it's one of the first games that used, not one of the first, but I'm pretty sure it's like still one of the most memorable that used social media
oh, yeah. for
within
camp.
your game. So
Yeah,
like
you did a lot of times, Orlando.
you would link your Facebook account, and then your survivors or people that you like are
your friends list.
Your friends list are your
survivors.
survivors. So then
Yeah.
when you have every game that you do, you're getting back like resources for your survivors, and then like.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, like basically
Yeah.
you have to survive like a certain weeks, and there's an actual story to the game that's
Yeah.
still to like
You had to get like certain wins and kills or something like that.
yeah, and then that gives you like
More
food
supplies.
resources
Yeah.
for your like survivors, and then that allows you to survive for weeks.
Yeah.
And each week is a different
Did,
like.
did you ever make it to the end?
No, hell no.
Yeah, I always died like halfway.
Yeah, so yeah,
Pedro, did you ever make it to the end?
No,
yeah.
I did not.
But it's still like a little. It's a small mini game within the game that just makes it more like engaging.
Yeah, it does.
So I thought that was pretty good.
'Cause
I-
I've always been like, oh, man, I gotta get more kills to get more supplies.
Yeah.
But people are dying. Orlando died again.
Or like you get that notification of like, oh man, this guy's feeling sick.
Yeah.
And then, oh man, he's really hungry right now. And oh, he died.
Yeah.
So I just thought it was a really cool way to incorporate social media within the game.
That is very true.
All right. So next game, no particular order, The Witcher 3.
Never played it.
Never played
Never
1
played
and
it.
2, but I thought 3 did a good job of like immersing you into that world enough that you're kind of lost a little bit, but after a while you get the gist of it. Like you get like, because it really doesn't hold your hand in terms of like what's happening.
Like story wise,
you're thrown in basically into like a middle of a civil war basically, and you're just there like, all right, you're a monster hunter, but then you also have like your own personal like shit going on. And then you kind of figure out what is going on, like just as you play the game.
The only thing I know about is the music is like every time you're in battle, even if you're fighting like a spider.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
David, you never played this? I think it's on PC.
Yeah, it is on PC, but I have yet to play it either.
Okay. Damn. It's too massive for you, huh?
You know, no.
Wait till we get his list, and then we'll see
Okay.
why.
Mine's gonna be very different from yours.
And then you're
Okay.
gonna have to explain what
These
you're
games
talking
are
about.
time consuming, essentially. Yeah.
But yeah,
Alright.
it's one of those games that I felt like it's a phenomenal game, but also the first game that I felt like immensely overwhelmed of like there's so much icons on the map and like so much things you have to go do, and it's
Wait
just
till
like,
you play
you don't
Odyssey.
have to, right?
you don't have to, but it just calls your name. Like
You could do just straight story and you'll
you
be fine.
can, yeah. And it's one of those games now that I'm like in a quarantine zone and I can't leave the house, whatever, even though I'm here. But
Yeah.
I jumped back in to play the DLC, which I never played, and it's a great game. It's just like, man, this is a lot, and so I just can't find myself to
You feel stressed?
yeah, it's not stressed, but just like I played enough of it. I know the combat, and for me, like once I get like the combat loop and like what the game is, and like beat the main story of the game, but this is like the DLC. So like now that I'm back in it, I'm just like, you know what? I don't wanna like the story to me is not that it's not pulling on me right now currently for me to jump back in.
Yeah.
But still, regardless, it's a phenomenal game, like through and through. And it has one of those games like the story, like the choices you make end up like affecting the end. You get different end stories and different endings. So I thought overall it was just a great game. All right, next game, and for this one I'm kind of cheating in a way, I guess, because I didn't really was able to decide, but Red Dead, like both games.
Okay.
I couldn't really.
But if
decide.
someone put a gun to your head right now
Red
and
Dead
said
1.
choose one, okay, there
Wait,
you go.
Red Dead 2 or Red Dead 3?
He just said
one.
Wait, the very first one? Red Dead Revolver?
No, because Red Dead Redemption 1.
Red Dead
Oh,
Revolver wasn't this decade.
I'm just
Exactly.
saying because you're saying 1 and there's the Red Dead series. And the Red Dead series is 1, 2, and 3. So
Red Dead Redemption.
Red Dead Redemption is 2. Okay, so you choose 2 over 3
I choose. Yeah, Red Dead Redemption 1.
over Red Dead Redemption 2.
Got it. There you go. So yeah, so I think overall that game to me, like just the ending alone,
Yep.
beats out 2. In my
I have that
opinion.
on my list. Agreed. 1, I felt such an impact for part 1.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. 2 gave me a good impact too, but 1 gave me
And
just like a sense of
Sadness.
like,
and
yeah, I just felt sad. I was just like, oh my god.
And
this
then
is,
I think
it's
what's
crazy.
I think 2 is a great. 2 is just overall like technologically great
Yeah.
and what it could do. But
Yeah.
I think why Red Dead beats it out is because like 2 is like how did we get to 1?
Right.
And
2
so-
has a sense of hope, but 1 really doesn't.
Yeah. And I think since I know all the characters in Red Dead Redemption 1, so the 2 being a prequel, I
yeah.
was like, I know where this is going.
Yeah, you know where they end up.
Right. So,
I agree completely. That game was fucking masterpiece.
right. So I think 1 in general, that's why it kind of loses out to 1. But yeah, just 2 in general, just like it's such great writing in terms of like they because you hear about characters and then
Yeah.
2 you meet them and they flush them out so fucking well.
I know you don't like to replay games, but I've beaten that game 3 times.
Part 2 or part 1?
Part 1.
Yeah, Pedro played the share of that game.
I played it so
That's
much.
when you didn't have a job, right?
Yeah, and
so you played the crap out of it.
I played the crap out of it because I did it first, and then I wanted to do it like 100% completion. And then the other time I did it because I just wanted to go back to it around the time when 2 was coming out. So
Yeah, you
man.
played it. You played it a lot. Man. I remember that's all you talked about.
I loved it. That was my shit.
Red Dead was really good, dude. I really liked that game.
Part 1?
Yeah, the Red Dead Redemption. I enjoyed that it was such a big game, but it felt manageable. You know, it felt like you could. There's a lot of these little systems you could do, and it felt really fun. Like the hunting and all that stuff was really cool.
Right.
I enjoyed doing almost everything in the game, but for me, it's not one of my top games. Like I got bored of it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I played the game. I played the story. The story was great, especially the ending.
Oh yeah. The
You
ending,
know?
yeah.
We're talking about spoilers here.
No,
No.
no spoilers. I already said the ending.
So the ending was pretty fun. Like how it switched it up on you. I'm like, man, no game has done this. I mean, that I experienced has
Right.
done that, and I thought that was pretty cool explanation of how to do the game.
Yeah, and that it's like I said, like this that for sure this decade it's a generation of like when storytelling in games like became like legit. Like we games as a medium should be taken seriously in
Yep.
terms of like
Agreed.
story. So for sure, like that game and Red Dead Redemption 2 are like hallmarks in like storytelling for sure. All right, moving on to the next game, Mass Effect 2.
I saw that on a lot of lists.
I didn't put 3 on the list in case anyone's wondering,
But,
but
Mass Effect 2. Hold on, I think I have that one.
Mass Effect 2, man, just
Mass Effect 2 is on my list.
just overall, what a fun,
Oh man, amazing
just
game.
fun, amazing
Never
game.
played it.
And you know what's funny is that like that's the first Mass Effect I played.
Oh, you didn't play
Yeah,
one.
because you remember 1 was only Xbox exclusive,
Yeah.
and then 2 jumped to multi-plat.
Did you do the like
The
comic
yeah,
story?
I did
thing?
the comic
Yeah,
thing,
that's
yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah,
They added
it
that.
was an amazing way to jumpstart you into the game.
Yeah.
It's pretty good because those games had like 3 or 4 important choices that affected the gameplay of 2
Right.
or the story of 2, which is pretty cool. But man, 2 was such a great game.
Yeah, man. Just
Everything about that game was like I was hooked on it. I played it and I didn't stop playing it, man.
that game was
so
just,
good.
just so much fun.
Yeah.
And it just felt like it was like one of the first games that I felt like I was somebody.
Yeah.
Like I was Shepard, and I was like
Orlando, you're somebody to me.
I felt like I fully like, and everyone has like their different like way they play the game. I know when you play games, Armando, you like to play your protagonists as douchebags,
Always, man.
the evil side.
Yeah, man.
Which
And
funny enough, they revealed recently that like 10 to 15% played Renegade. Most of the people played Paragon in those games.
Yeah.
So you were part of the 15%, Armando, where you're just an asshole the entire
Well,
game.
the thing is that like if you give me a choice, I'm gonna always go full evil. Except in maybe I don't know if you have any of this, but Red Dead Redemption 2, it didn't fit the character going full evil.
It didn't make sense at all.
So it's kind of like
Well, Red Dead Redemption 1 didn't fit either. So those
both,
two were
both of those
pointless.
games. So
So-
it doesn't make sense because like
why you give me these options?
I actually think it's just the illusion of freedom, just so you can feel like however you feel the character is, you do it.
And I feel like in Red Dead, I feel like it was kind of like just one of those things where like kind of like a GTA, like get the star thing up. So I feel like that's just one of the gameplay elements that they just had to add.
but like GTA, it doesn't really matter what you do. So it's kind of like the story of GTA is so irrelevant because like your character does dumb shit, fucked up shit anyways. So it's kind of like you could go full evil all you want, but Grand Theft Auto doesn't give you those choices. So like the only way you could have a fun experience of going evil is getting your levels up, right? And you have that fun experience. But the thing is that like in Red Dead, it has a story. It has
Right.
a progression of what you need to do, and like they give you options like, oh, you can either save this person or kill this person. But like,
Yeah, your
it
character
doesn't affect anything about my character.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even go with my character. Give me the options. So just fucking give me a story,
Right.
like Last of Us, of like you're fucking forced to do this.
Right,
'Cause
yeah.
This is the story we want to give you.
Right, and
outside of the story, do whatever you want. But here,
right.
do
and
this.
it doesn't match. You're right. It doesn't mesh with how the character archetype is.
Yeah, for
written.
sure.
But in Mass Effect, it's completely different because you are that character. So all your choices make sense because you embody that character. So however you want to play it, you play it. And just in general, just making the relationships, learning about your different like people, your team, and learning about like their differences and different races. Like it was just such a fun game. Like overall, I just felt like super immersed into that world. Like that's one of my favorite RPGs of all time. All right, next game, Skyrim.
Okay.
Anyone has it on their list? Skyrim?
no,
Honorable mention.
Yeah,
I played it and I hated it.
Skyrim.
You are insane,
Yeah.
sir. Absolutely insane.
I couldn't get past the whole map.
The map bothered you.
Oh my god, that annoyed me. The
What
shit out of
bothered him
me.
about the map?
The map, like, all right. So in the map, right, is it tells you like, oh, it doesn't really tell you where you need to go specifically.
Yeah, it just points to a map.
It just points somewhere, and I hated that because the game is so fucking big.
It doesn't tell you from up and down.
Yeah, like it just like you need to go here, and I'm like, okay, where here? Oh, I need to go up here. Oh no, you need to go down here. I'm like, where the fuck do I get down there? And it was just like I was getting so frustrated.
Where's your sense of adventure, man?
No, dude, it's a fucking video game, man. Like I hated the fact that I needed to fucking look for shit and stuff. I'm like, look, I don't have time for that, man. This game is too big for me to be looking for shit. Like, tell me where to go, and if I want to explore on my own, let me explore on my own. But if I'm doing a mission, tell me where to go for this mission so I could complete the mission, get the experience, and fucking fuck around if I wanted to. And I just didn't like that. It just bothered me. I kept getting frustrated,
Right.
so I just stopped playing it.
But
Orlando, tell us how much you loved it because his argument is irrelevant.
So when it
us.
comes to Skyrim and Oblivion, because I played both of them, I actually like Oblivion more. But I think Skyrim on what it does, like it's kind of like The Witcher, one of those games that never ends. Like literally, you can play that game for like hours and hours on end. And I beat the main story, and I tried to do some of the DLC. And once I got the gameplay loop, I wasn't interested in the story. But I played that game like 100 hours plus, 200 hours plus probably. And I just loved the gameplay and just how immersed the city is and like how big everything is and just like how I like how it's a living world. Like it's like one of the first times you're like in a game where you're like, oh shit, this is alive. Like
where people have their schedule.
People
and
have their
stuff.
schedule.
I mean, games have done that before, but it's just bigger.
Yeah, it's just bigger and just massive and like it's just I like just going into like being different fractions and being part of like a different like the mage guild and the fighting guild, huh?
Factions.
It's not fractions?
No, it's not fractions. It's factions.
Factions?
This isn't algebra.
2/3 of that guild, and 1/3 guild, and the decimal guild, and the dividing guild.
All those fractions.
All the fractions. But yeah, so I just really liked that game in general, and just being fully immersed in that game was just really fun. One of the best experience I had playing an RPG.
Nice.
Next game.
La
La la la. To God of War.
Which God of War?
The PS4
Of course.
God of War.
That was yeah.
Yeah, just
100% agreed.
I'm sure it's on your list. I'm sure you got it on your list. Page Monday, you have it on your list. God of War. But,
God of War, I do have it on my list, and the new one, that one that came out recently,
that's what we said.
2018.
2018 God of War.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Take it away, Orlando, because I mean,
Boy, PS4, basically.
boy.
I just thought it was really good in terms of I only played God of War 1 and God of War 2. I never played God of War 3. And just
they're so different.
Yeah, just as a game of like I took it as like Fatherhood, the video game. And just the fact that like not just the game, but the camera of that game is so revolutionary. Like it never cuts. It's like a long ass.
Right. The game faked a single take.
Yeah.
If you don't die.
Yeah, it does that. And I thought that was really cool. I just thought like that was like so creative, and like the fact that like your son tells you like, hey, someone's behind you. Hey, someone, because you really can't.
And
like,
he joins in the fight like Last of Us ish.
Yeah.
Yes. It was just great. They seamlessly blended all of those together.
Yeah, and then like just the story of like I like how
I like how they hid the loading times and little things. It was the first game that I noticed that did that, where you'll start crouching through corridors. You know, you squeeze through the little
Mass
openings.
Effect 2 did that a lot.
Oh,
The
okay.
elevator. The elevators, you just go on elevators ride and like
Yeah, and it's just faking of the.
it's just super quiet, and they'll talk to you, and then that's the loading screen.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man.
But just story in general of just like this guy who has to take care of his son, and like after like a loss of like his mom dying.
And the gameplay is great with the
axe.
the axe, man. And I love how it felt. Like it felt like even when you threw it and the comeback and the feedback it gave you, like it felt like you were actually like you had the axe, dude. And not a lot of games could be able to do that. Like if they make a Thor game, they have to copy that.
Yeah, I mean we saw that in the Avengers gameplay, like
and
it
hope
looked similar to God of War.
hopefully they copied that mechanic, because it was perfect.
Yeah.
It was perfect the way it did.
I mean, even like
And they brought back when they brought back the Blaze of Chaos, that was pretty cool.
I wasn't
Like,
gonna even mention that, but cause I was gonna mention it, but not like say it was. But like when that happened, dude, I was like, oh shit, this is about to get real. Like I was really excited. Like it changed the gameplay like entirely, and I didn't think that was ever gonna happen.
No, it was great.
And I thought that was a huge like twist of the game, and
Yeah.
I just thought like it was crazy. And even in general, like the story with I forgot the villain's name technically.
Well, the Wanderer.
The Wanderer, yeah, and like
Yeah.
his powers and like
Yeah.
his story, and it was all about like the whole game just centered around like parenthood and like being
It really did. It all paralleled. You get to see the extreme of if he starts parenting wrong, it can go in that direction.
right.
Or if he parents right, it can probably go in this direction. And him being in the middle, like he's like, I don't know how to be a dad. I just fucking kill bitches
Yeah,
all
I'm
day.
just trying to like do my best.
Right.
Yeah.
I great. It told an amazing story at the same time with some kick-ass action. So it was great
Yeah,
stuff.
Pretty good. All right, next game, Uncharted 3.
Interesting. That's my least favorite Uncharted. Fun fact.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, like, Uncharted 2 would be on the list, but it didn't come out in 2000.
I mean, they're all great, but that's my least favorite.
So I just really liked it because I like the story. Obviously, I like the gameplay of it, and I like the multiplayer. I think we played it a lot extensively. I know you don't remember that much, Armando, but I was on
No,
that
I
shit.
don't.
Yeah, we just talked about it a little bit earlier, but I hated the power-ups online.
Yeah.
Where you would summon shit,
yeah,
and I'm like...
the money you need to get in order to create, and I'm just like, oh, this just got too bloated.
It was when microtransactions were getting annoying.
Yeah, but I just enjoyed the game of it, the story of it, seeing young Drake, the set pieces. I think, in my opinion, it has the best set pieces of any Uncharted game.
I can agree with that. I could definitely agree with that.
Yeah, so
4 had some pretty sick ones, but 3 overall had
the best set pieces, like
Yeah.
the boat, the airplane, like
Yep, the desert. Yeah.
desert. Yeah, it had the best, like, just overall beat set pieces that I
agree.
just thought were like the best.
I definitely agree.
And yeah, just overall, just great game. I think it's better than 4.
Disagree.
And yeah, I just love Uncharted, like just the way, like just Indiana Jones in a video game. So
Yeah.
we really can't go wrong.
Yeah, what a great series. What else you got, man?
All right, next one, BioShock Infinite.
Ah, my nigga. That's on my list too.
Is that on your list, Mom?
No, I don't have it on my list.
Yeah, there's always a Lighthouse. I really enjoyed that game. I thought it was
It was a very nice reimagining of a different take on the story because we played part 2 and part 2 was like, eh.
yeah, and
But this one
yeah.
definitely did a really good.
I think
Almost a soft reboot of the series.
yeah, I think overall, like, I think the gameplay wasn't, because I felt like one had a sense of like scarcity as well with like ammo and stuff like that.
Okay.
This one you are like always locked and loaded,
I think so too. Yeah.
and it's more of like a not like a like just enemies just come at you in waves.
I agree.
One had an atmosphere of like dread and like
Fear.
fear,
Yeah.
and this was more of like a traditional gameplay.
It's true. One was more of a horror game. so-
Yeah, and this one was a traditional, more of like a shooter. But the story in general, how it ties into one,
Yep.
and just the whole thing about like time.
The plot. I didn't think anything can top Would You Kindly, but the plot of this
Yeah.
was pretty mind blowing. It was really out there. I loved it.
Yeah, and just the concept of just time and the concept of like
Yeah.
just I can't
I
spoilers,
I know. Yeah.
but man,
Especially when you replay the game, you start catching things. And you're
Yeah,
like, oh
yeah.
man, all that makes sense now.
even when you die, you come back on
right,
man,
right.
Like, it just
there was an explanation for everything. in the
yeah,
game.
and I just think like story wise, like it's one of like the best like story games of
Mm-hmm.
like of all time. Like just like I don't think it's better than
like concept wise.
yeah, I don't think
agree.
it's better than one, but it has like an Inception vibe where I'm just like, this is phenomenal.
I agree.
Like
It's not better than one, but it's pretty fucking up there.
it's close, man, in my opinion, honestly.
I
Like it's
agree.
really close up there, like to one. Like it's
I agree. Excellent choice.
yeah. So great game. All right, next game. Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah.
Nah, man, I love Horizon.
That's not on my list. That's my honorable mention.
I platinumed that game.
Yeah, man, just a great story.
Yeah, it's a great post-apocalyptic techno, old caveman techno punk. I don't even know. They created their own their own different genre while
With
they were
like
at it.
Native American mixed in there.
Yeah, it was just a whole thing of. It was such a great fucking concept, and just
I really enjoyed it. Like I like the idea of these robots, and you can get stuff from them, and that's how you kind of create your civilization and your weapons and all this
your
crap.
traps and so on.
And man, I just loved how that game was like the way it played, the arrows, the like how it took you back, and it had an explanation of why it's taking you back to, and it had all these futuristic things in it. Just I love the explanation of like you have the future, but you have the past, and this is why it merges together.
Right.
And then
it's-
the future technology is like magic.
yeah,
Right.
to them.
Mysterious stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
the idea of electricity, they're like, what? This is magic. So it's just really cool to see like mages are wielding just electrical
Yeah.
staffs and stuff.
The story
great
is
idea.
the story is just like it's insane.
Yeah.
Like once you unpack it and when you like discover like what happened to like this civilization and like, cause like it's like you said like clearly like modern era came by was there clearly like we existed or like our timeline
and it was an
existed.
actual place. There were a lot of people. I can't even remember where it was.
I think it was like in like Oregon. No, that Oregon.
I feel like it was somewhere in Virginia.
But there were some places where like this is clearly like a baseball stadium. This is clearly like something.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was just like
But there was one that it was I want to say it was Virginia. It was like an Air Force academy where they teach you to be a pilot.
Yeah.
And it's there. And then someone actually took a picture of it outside their window and you looked at it side by side. That's the place.
yeah.
And then as close to that place is something else, and he found that in the game. So it really was that city just fucked up
Right, right.
with time. So
So I just thought that was just a crazy concept. Like I could see that being like a TV show kind of concept, and I just thought like, yeah, just to mesh so much different. Like
yeah, a Game of Thrones concept with that would have been great.
yeah, and I enjoyed it. And the gameplay is really good. It's funny because I downloaded the DLC Frozen Wilds,
yeah, that's just hard, man.
and I was gonna play it, and I was like, okay, let me play it, whatever. And I guess I deleted my like old files.
oh,
So then like I have to start all over and actually beat the game or get close to beating the game.
you know,
Close to.
I think this is the trouble I told you. Remember how I lost my God of War?
Yeah.
It's because it wasn't automatic because we share our shit.
Yeah.
So you have to manually save your shit to the cloud.
Yeah, so that's what happened.
And
so,
if you don't do it, you lose it all.
so I lost it. So like to play the Frozen Wilds, I gotta start over the game, and I'm like, I don't want to do that because
It's too long.
it's too long. I know the story already, so
Yeah.
there's nothing like pushing me to play that.
Unless
again.
you're going for the plat.
No, which I'm not. So that's where I'm at with that. Like it's a phenomenal game. I want to play the DLC. Maybe not since I'm quarantine zoned in, and maybe I'll get to it.
No,
But
you got to get through the games I just gave
yeah,
you.
you just gave me a bunch of games that I'll probably play. So
Yeah. Yeah, the Frozen Wilds is really hard. Because everything is just upped a notch, right? Because you already completed the game and you already have all these things, and
Right.
it just becomes harder because the beasts are harder and they're more vicious and shit like that. I mean, I couldn't beat it.
yeah.
I think I beat the story, but I wanted to beat like trying to plat the DLC, and I couldn't do it. It was too hard.
Yeah, but overall, just a phenomenal game. And the last game,
On your list.
Spider-Man PS4.
Obviously, hell yeah. Spider-Man was amazing.
Good
Yeah.
shit. Good shit.
Pun intended.
That's actually not on my list, but I guess I'll.
Whoa!
Not on
No,
your
no,
list?
no. it's
Oh
not.
my god,
That's crazy.
Pedro, man! Of
It's
all
the
games,
decade.
of all the games we talked about, man, Spider-Man was amazing.
It was.
Yeah.
Like that's probably by far the best Spider-Man game we've had ever.
It's not like the best game of
Uh-oh.
2018.
No, it wasn't. That wasn't the best of
2017.
2018.
It's come out
It's the same year as God of War. So
So
God of War,
2018.
God of War took all the love. Yeah.
It's not the best game of 2018, but it's the most fun I had playing a game.
Hmm.
It's the most fun I had like
Yeah.
playing a video game in a very, very long time.
Yeah. It was great. A lot of great fan service.
Yeah.
The animation was fantastic. The character models were great. They did
Yeah.
a really good job of modernizing it, but still making them look comic booky.
Yeah, and even just
I think that's the problem that has the Adventure has. The Square Enix one that looks terrible.
You think so? I
It looks
disagree.
shitty as fuck.
I disagree.
it looks pretty. They look just too bulky. Like the character just
looks
character
weird.
model looks weird.
The
But-
thing is, we're too used to the fucking movies. That's the thing.
But I agree, though.
You don't need that. Like the Spider-Man video game looks nothing like Tom Holland or the movies or
Right.
even the cartoons we grew up with. It's his own thing. But the thing is that like I don't need a reference. It just needs to look good, and it just
Yeah.
the Avengers doesn't look good.
And it's one of the first games that I played that like I think like we talk about the best Peter Parkers, but we never talk about the Spider-Man PS4 Peter Parker. Like he's actually really good.
He was good.
Like
He's a perfect mixture.
yeah, and like he's up there, like at least top for sure, top Peter Parker. Like
Mm-hmm.
we just don't think about it because it's a video game, but even like him,
That's how I feel about Kevin Conroy Batman. No one gives him any love.
yeah, even like him and MJ's like dynamic of like them together, and then like I forgot what joke that she makes about like his phone or some shit. Like they're just talking about like nonchalant, and like it's a conversation that is so reminiscent of like people who are like who've been in relationships and like are a couple or not a couple or whatever, and like it's such a like when I was playing it, I was like, man, this feels like a real like relationship. Like you could feel like they were together because in the game I think they're not together anymore.
They're not together, yeah.
But you could feel like their like chemistry and their dynamic of like being a couple.
Yeah.
And so like I felt like they nailed it.
Yeah, the characters are written very great.
Yeah,
for sure.
like it's really good.
I even thought the side quests, the side missions, they did an Arkham City type thing going on, and yeah, where there were certain villain arcs that you didn't really have to do, but you could do
Yeah.
if you wanted to. I love that, but they
Yeah.
took that from Arkham City.
The whole there's some of the side shit that got boring because I did the platinum for it, so like a lot of the gameplay loop of
Cast a drone or
oh my god what's his name
Taskmaster.
I think that's what Pedro was talking about. The Taskmaster ones, the Taskmaster ones were okay, but the ones I hated the most were his friend. What's his name?
Harvey. The Harvey ones.
I hated those, dude. They were so annoying. All of them were annoying. Oh, swing through this place and spread the antidote. Harry. There you go. Harry.
I was like, his name's not Harvey. I
Yeah,
know.
I'm like, you were doing the Harvey Dent.
No, but my
Harry,
mind was
yeah.
like, it starts with an H. I'm like, yeah, you're right, Orlando.
Yeah,
The Harry missions were the Harry Osborn were so stupid, dude. I hated all of those missions. But the game itself was fun. Like swinging through the buildings, amazing. It's probably like one of the most fun I had, like just doing silly shit, you know. And when you upgrade your levels, the combat, I don't know. That game is definitely up there, man. Like I spent a lot of time having fun with that game.
I chose a different game over that. That was way too similar.
Okay.
So we'll get to that on my list.
All right,
He chose Batman, obviously.
obviously.
Oh, what are you talking about? All right, David, you are up, and I know your list is going to be very different because, like I said, he is
Gonna take a
PC
quick,
Master Race.
PC intermission. So I'm gonna start with Firewatch.
I've played that.
nice.
I played that.
It's so good. It's a very short game. It's kind of like a walking simulator adventure game. Takes place in the 80s.
It has a very good atmosphere, that game.
Yeah, visually gorgeous, and the voiceover in it is so good.
It is.
Like it actually served as an impetus for me to start pursuing it.
Oh, nice. I
Um,
didn't know that.
But yeah, it takes place in the 80s. It's this guy who's kind of had a shitty like life. He takes a job as a fire watch at a national park, and it's just a really lonely job. And it's kind of known for people who, you know, if your life has been real fucked up until this point, you're like, people end up there.
Is it like
in that position?
Is it like the Five Finger Freddy or whatever that game called?
No, it's nothing like that.
No.
It's not horror based.
It's not horror. There's a little mystery, but it's not really what it's about.
It's similar to what I got home, right?
Yeah.
A little bit.
I would say so.
A little bit. It's just like it's emotional because you're pretty much in constant contact with this one chick who's also a firewatch. You never see her face.
Right. It's just through the
And
walkie-talkie.
it's just 100% dialogue, and you're just walking around talking to each other and developing this relationship. And I loved it.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorites for sure.
I played that for the PlayStation. It was on sale, and it was really good. When it was over, I was like, oh, fuck.
It was only like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, I was like,
That's
I don't
it.
know how to feel. Because you know, it's like a bittersweet ending.
Yes, it is.
It's interesting.
It is.
Good choice. It's not on my list, but good choice.
Thank you very much. I'm gonna go with Disco Elysium next.
Well, I heard a lot of
nice.
good things about this.
Disco Elysium. I haven't played it to like completion yet, but so far it's incredible.
The art style's
it's-
fantastic.
It's dark and gritty, and it's basically an RPG without any combat. You play as a detective in like a rundown, like terrible city. Everyone's just like grimy, and there's like
amazing.
everyone's rioting, and nobody likes you. You're fucked up. You're like drunk, alcoholic. You're like everything that you want to like. Every bad thing that this dude could do, he did it. So it's again, it's 100% dialogue. You're talking to people, you're trying to solve a mystery, but like no one wants to cooperate with you, and
So there's no combat, so it's really you
there's
kind of doing dialogue.
There's no combat. It's very like the stats are very D&D like, where you get strength, you get intelligence, but they help you in your conversations. Like you actually have to roll, for an intelligence, or like for memory, for strength, if you want to beat somebody up, if you want to. It's for intimidation, or if you want to break down this door, or if you.
So it is D&D like, so you actually roll for it.
Yes, you're rolling for it, and if you want to try and persuade somebody, if you want to try and, you can do a lot with it. It's really, really in depth, and highly recommend. And it's
I've
gritty
been
and
wanting to
dark
get
and
into
cool. It's well written. It's like really intelligently written.
Yeah, I heard
You
a
have,
lot of
like-
good things about that game.
Like parts of your psyche start talking to you, and it's like this dude is hallucinating every possible thing.
Shit.
He's like that typical like drunk, like hard-boiled detective like type of archetype, but
Yes.
then you add to it with your choices.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's fantastic. I love it. Continuing on the RPG train, I'm gonna go Divinity: Original Sin 2.
Heard of it.
I was gonna say you and me just started playing part 1.
We
so.
started playing 1 because you have to play everything chronologically for some reason.
What do you mean? You have to. It's
Well,
the
2 is
story.
a game that you could just jump into. You don't really need the context from 1, which is why I say that. But incredibly detailed RPG, just beautiful. Like I'm a big fantasy nerd, so for me it really fulfills that like fantasy landscape.
So what is this game about?
You play as a So there's this thing called Source. Source is like the energy that you use to like for magic.
Okay.
And in the first game, you play as someone who they call a Source hunter, someone who's like hunting down these people who are pretty much evil. Because if you have Source, a lot of people use it because it's so chaotic. It's like hard to control. So a lot of people end up using it to do like fucked up shit.
Evil shit, yeah.
To kill people and to get what they want. And in the second one, you play as somebody who actually has the ability to use it, and you start off with like being imprisoned and you're being taken to like a prison to be executed.
Oh, because you have it, because you're a sorcerer.
Yeah, because you are a sorcerer. And then you find these allies who are also sorcerers, and you start breaking out, and it's very religious as well. There's a lot of your character has kind of like a god complex, but you don't really realize it early on. They kind of like, oh, I realize I have this power. Oh shit, I could do this with it. I'm basically a god.
Oh.
So you kind of wrestle with that like good and evil type thing. And it's
So does it give you the choices to go evil or bad? Evil or good?
you can literally kill whoever you want in the game. Any NPC, you can just like start fighting them, kill them.
I noticed that a
loot
little bit
them.
in the first one.
And people do that because everyone you kill gives you experience. So if you're about to leave this town, you could just fuck everyone up and get out, take all their stuff. Like-
Damn, that sounds like Armando's type
Yeah,
of game.
Here we
people
go.
do that shit, so you can actually be a villain. And like, if you do a lot of evil shit, you can use that in your dialogue options, like to do like evil stuff. Like,
And what's the name of this game again?
Divinity: Original Sin 2.
Divinity.
You can interact with everyone and everything. It's very much like a leave no stone unturned type game.
That's
Click on
cool.
everything you see, talk to everyone you meet. Everyone's fully voice acted, which is crazy. Every single NPC. You could talk to animals. So funny.
I noticed that in part 1.
Yeah.
So and 2, I can only imagine.
And they actually help you with your quests and stuff. So if you can't talk to animals, you're probably missing out on a little bit of things. Yeah.
So if anyone plays this, you would recommend pick a character that can talk to animals. That way you get a little extra.
Yeah, you get a little extra.
They have it on the Switch.
They do have it on the Switch.
Yeah.
And
Does
you
it
can-
play well?
Yeah,
It does?
it does.
Holy shit, I'm gonna pick it up on the Switch then.
It's just completely comprehensive. If you're into any RPG at all, you're gonna love it.
Nice.
I'm gonna go with next. I'm gonna go Octopath Traveler.
Oh, great choice.
Damn.
It's just like an ode to like the old school, JRPGs. I'm a
Old school Final Fantasy.
Yes.
And what was it called? Trials of Mana or something
Yeah.
like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
it has like the old 8-bit
Yes, I
graphics,
love that.
which I love. The music is so good.
Yeah.
The soundtrack's incredible. It's dynamic. Like every character, it's called Octopath because there's 8 different characters, and they all meet. I would say like the one con for that game is like the story. The 8 different characters don't really have a a reason for helping each other out. They just kind of meet up and it's like, I need help, and they're like, okay, sure, I'll go. So they each have their own individual stories, and they're like their individual stories are very good. Like my favorite chick, her name is Primrose. She basically has like an Oren Ishii like revenge type story. Like her father was killed by these, Yakuza type dudes.
Nice.
And she grows up, becomes like a seductress dancer, and she's gonna hunt them down.
Oh, it's the dancer story. See, I didn't get that far.
That's the dancer. But yeah, visually absolutely gorgeous. The music, fantastic. If you love old school RPGs, Japanese RPGs, I should say, like if you love the old Final Fantasy games, that's a must-have like pickup for me.
Definitely.
So good.
I've been meaning to get back into it. I got up to I think like 4 characters. I didn't get to the full 8 yet. And it was kind of cool that once you get the person, you can continue your character's story arc with the
Yes.
other person helping.
Yeah, and it
which is
encourages
nice.
you to play through all of their stories.
Yeah.
So like you want to switch all of your party members in and out so that you can level them up and play through their whole arcs.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
Not bad. Not
amazing,
bad.
amazing game. Let's see. Next, I'm gonna Fire Emblem 3 Houses.
Ah,
Oh,
I've been meaning
okay.
to.
I
The
was-
Harry Potter of
Yeah,
medieval-ish.
So I mean, Fire Emblem's been going on for years and years, but I only started playing with Awakening, which was I think the first one that they put on the 3DS.
Yes.
So where they introduced like Chrom and Lucina and them. Super good. And then they came out with Fates, which was 2 different games, which was upsetting for me. It was Birthright and Conquest.
Birthright and which I played Birthright.
Yeah.
And I think you played Conquest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Conquest was like the more difficult one.
I heard it was the harder one.
So the good thing about 3 Houses is it's just one game. And there's 3 to 4 different paths that you can take.
And apparently a hidden 4th, if I'm not mistaken.
They added a 5th
Oh,
recently
that's
as
what
a
it is.
DLC. There's like another house in the school that's like underground. But it's basically a social RPG. So if you ever played
Persona.
Persona,
I was gonna say-
I was gonna say Persona,
It's
but
very
I'll just
Persona-ish.
include it here because Persona 5 is also an amazing social RPG where like you're basically the relationships that you have outside of combat like influence everything else. So in 3 Houses you play as a teacher at like a monastery, and all of your students are basically your army. So you have to get to know all of them, you have to develop their relationships, and if you guys fight together then you're stronger.
Yeah.
And really cool story. There's a lot of like crazy like betrayal, another like fantasy setting that I'm like really obsessed with. And yeah, it's the characters are really, really likable. The music's so good. Again, the voiceover for Fire Emblem is really, really, really good.
And it's good because it's a jump on point for Fire Emblem as well. You don't have to play any of the others. You can
Yeah.
just jump
Don't.
into it.
They're all completely different stories.
Yeah.
So I played 2 Houses as well, but I only played like half the game. Like when your hair color changes,
But yeah.
that's pretty much where I'm at in the game.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I was like, how can I spoil it, but not really spoil it?
Which house did you pick?
Golden Deer.
Hell yeah.
Because I think he's the most chill. Like
He was super chill.
He's so because in the game basically they sell in the beginning they sell you like, hey, you should join my house because, and he was the only guy like, I don't care, you can join it, you can not join it, whatever.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right,
I chose the red just because I'm like, you sound fucking chaotic. So I'm going to go your side so we can fuck shit up. So I chose red.
So I mean, I'm at the point now where like she got real in terms of like, oh, she, like the true villain has emerged.
Pretty much.
And it's just very good. Like it's a like underlining like underneath like the gameplay and then the social dynamic, there is a great story about like religion and like a great story of like
Power.
just power and just like democracy, like, and it's I stopped playing it because like it got to a point where like once again like the way I play games, and I'm notorious for not beating games, but
once it gets too open,
once I get the gameplay loop, if the story's not there, I check out. Because eventually, like for me, like we talked about, a few games have an incredible story, but most games don't. Like, Houses though is a game that has a great story, but the loop was just got repetitive to me.
Okay,
so
I
then
see.
I couldn't like continue on.
so you would hate Persona
I feel that.
because Persona's a loop.
Yeah. So like, because the game is built around you being a teacher at a school, and then like you do your battles. So like, every
Yeah,
like,
teacher by day, battle by night
so
almost.
like every month you like battle like twice, and the rest is just school. And so like I'm not sure how it. Like, I know later it changes entirely. I think
No, for the most part, it's the
that's-
same.
is
throughout.
that. Oh, okay.
yeah, so he's like, I checked out.
Because
Fuck it.
so I checked out. 'Cause I'm like, all right, I get it. Like, so then like the story was there. It was intriguing enough. But then I'm like, you know what? I'm good. And I still have it. I might go back. But overall, I felt like the game was like, this is my first Fire Emblem, and I was like, oh, this is fucking really good. Like it was up there to like not my game of the year, but like for sure like my honorable mentions. Because even though I didn't beat it, I played like, because the game is like one playthrough is like 100 hours or something, like 60 hours.
So many.
So like I played that game like 30, 40 hours. So I got the game. Like I was like, I get what this is, and it's fucking really, really good. So I really enjoyed it. Especially like just every student, every person there has a personality, and eventually you learn like little by little about them. And like they don't like they're fleshed out people. Like they don't waver in terms of like personality. Like
100%.
who they are like in the game is, it's not like they make a like, you know how some games or some shows or movies like you don't see that character making that decision, or they break like their character. Like Fire Emblem, like these characters are well written and well fleshed out. Like they come with like they come with a backstory, and like the reason why they are the way they are is explained through their backstory, and they never like waver in terms of like their character build, which is good like writing in my opinion. So yeah, overall great game. I'm glad you had it on your list.
Next on your list.
Next on my list, I'm gonna say Path of Exile.
What is that?
Path of Exile,
which is a Diablo-ish.
Yeah, if you ever played like a Diablo 2 style like hack and slash game, Path of Exile is probably one of the most like developed ones, probably the best in my opinion. It's made by a company in New Zealand, and it's free to play, and sort of it's so crazy customizable. Like I don't know if you guys have ever played Final Fantasy X. Like their customizable system was the sphere grid.
Yes,
You know
which
that?
I hated because I went in the wrong direction and my guy sucked.
So yeah, it's like one giant like skill tree, and then everyone starts in a different place. So if you wanted to play like Yuna and learn like jump, you'd have to go all the way to like Kimari's section.
Yes.
Which is not optimal, but you could do it.
My Kamari sucked because I think I went magic,
Yeah.
and I was like, "You're not a tank anymore," and I needed a tank, so
Like,
I fucked them up.
you could play that way.
I suck at those skill trees, honestly.
Yeah, so that's what Path of Exile has is there's 7 different characters. They each align toward different like attributes. Like you have the witch, who's just like intelligence, the shadow, who does intelligence and dexterity, stuff like that. So you could make like a spell casting witch, but you could like give her a fucking hammer and just like give her melee abilities and shit. It's a really dark game, which is what I liked about Diablo 2.
Oh, yeah.
Is that it's got that like horror feel to it.
Yeah, you were scared to turn corners and stuff.
Yeah.
'cause-
It's really dark, and like they update it every few months. Like they introduce like an entirely new server, a new economy.
Oh, that's cool.
So all these new mechanics keep getting introduced to the game. So I mean, probably someone jumping in right now would be a little overwhelmed because there's so many different things to do. But I think the game is getting better at introducing them to you like slowly over time, so that you don't get so.
I think that's essential for
overwhelmed.
games like that.
Yeah. It's been around for, I don't know, I think since 2010, 2011 or something like that. So, yeah, something I still play to this day. I literally played it this morning. It's
Nice.
excellent. I'm going to say next would be Dota 2.
The
Yeah.
beginning, the reason why there's fucking MOBAs,
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah, so
stand
Dota
MOBAs.
1 is why, well, there were a few
one of the
before
richest
that, but
pots in history in esports also.
pretty much, yeah. The international is insane. But yeah, Dota started in Warcraft 3 as a mod that it got insanely popular. And then the dude who made it went on to make League of Legends.
Whoa.
So, I mean, League of Legends is crazy popular now. But
So so he created a competitor for his own creation, essentially.
well, basically League of Legends is what he wanted to make the whole time, but there's limitations in the Warcraft 3 like map editor. So, and then eventually, Dota was still crazy popular in Warcraft 3. So Valve was just like, give me that, and they made Dota 2. So I think like a lot of it has to do with nostalgia for me, because I played so much Dota 1 and it has all the same characters.
Oh, okay.
But League of Legends couldn't make the same characters. They had to make a completely new crop of dudes. But I mean, I play both. Like I play League and I play Dota. But if I had to choose, it would be Dota.
Nice.
Because there's just a little more complexity. There's
It's got a richer pot, man.
yeah, it has an insanely rich pot. It's because people contribute to the prize pool. They did it the right way. So they release a they call it I think now they call it a battle pass or like a compendium where people you could basically all the money that you throw into the battle pass gets contributed to the prize pool.
Oh,
And
no
you start
shit.
getting like in-game stuff, like in-game like cosmetics.
Oh, so
and-
that's how it gets so
Yeah.
big. I was curious about
yeah.
that.
I think it's a quarter of all the money that you put into the battle pass.
That's interesting.
Wow.
and it gets into like 20 million.
So that's
shit like
cool
that.
because then you think there's always a chance I can make it all back. I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
Something like
as you know, it's like the chance of winning the lottery. But
How hard is the gameplay loop to learn?
I couldn't wrap my
It's-
brain around it.
It's probably not that easy. I think League of Legends is a lot easier. I guess like a low skill floor, high skill ceiling is probably what I would say. You could jump in, but you probably wouldn't know what you're doing for a little while.
Yeah.
And then people are probably going to get mad at you because you're not using the meta, which is what ruins many games.
Yeah. Well, that's
Many online
with any
games.
like competitive.
Right,
game.
I
You
was
have
gonna say
people
any.
who are just gonna be pricks at you because you're not using the right heroes or
Right.
you don't know what items to buy.
Yeah,
But-
I tried playing the similar game on console. I forgot the name of it right now.
Smite?
No, it was another one that was Paragon.
Oh, Paragon is another
Yeah.
MOBA. Yeah.
But Paragon, just got disbanded, and they gave away all their assets.
Rest in peace.
But I started trying to play that one, and I was still early in it. I never got far into it, but I was still trying to. I understand the concept of hey, defeat all these pillars and
Yes.
win the map.
Yep.
But there's still a game within the game.
Yeah.
You have to play. So I never got to the point where I understood the game within the game. I understood the game, just not the game within
Exactly.
the
The
game.
main objective is to destroy the enemy's like
Yeah.
big building.
Right. But on the way, you can do
in
things.
between, you
Yeah.
have to farm up your hero. You got to get items. You got to kill the other hero so they can't farm.
There's
Yeah.
little camps in the middle that level you up. And
little things that give you buffs, items to buy.
there's shops. Yeah, there's all kinds of shit.
And there's like a lot of like mind games too. Like you just have to like predict where people are going because you can't see the other side unless
Right,
you
the
unless
fog
you have
of
vision
war.
there. Yeah. Yeah, it's
I think it's a very easy concept for a lot of RTS players,
Mm-hmm.
like fans of StarCraft, Warcraft, and Command and Conquer. But it's still its whole other animal.
yeah. I mean, I've sunk like thousands of hours into that game, so I mean, I'll probably still be playing it for like years more to come as long as it survives.
I'm pretty sure it will. That game is too massive. But all big things must come to an end eventually.
I guess so, man.
It's like Warcraft.
or just evolve into something else.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dota 3.
Maybe one day. Final Fantasy 14.
14. Oh shit, that's the Realm Reborn.
Yes.
Which is funny because I bought it for PlayStation, never played it. Never played it.
I played it on the free
So-
weekend. It's very overwhelming. When I jumped in, it was very overwhelming. There's so much.
There's a lot, but I mean, this is like my baby.
Yeah,
Like,
I really
I
like
come from the world of MMOs, so like you and I started playing like EverQuest and then like 99.
and then Dark Age of Camelot and
City of Heroes, Star Wars Galaxies.
So, yeah.
Is it
Also
similar
like that.
to
OG Star Wars Galaxies.
Is it similar to DC Online?
Yeah,
Yes.
pretty much.
Yes.
Okay. That I played.
Which came out
But
around the exact same time.
I would say DC Online is more action based,
Uh-huh.
and this one's a little more old school. I guess is the right way to say it.
I
It's more
remember
complex.
When we went to Comic-Con in San Diego, we got like the DC Online like pass, and we also got Final Fantasy 14 1.0 before it was a Realm Reborn, when it was like
The
hot
shit.
garbage fire, when it was terrible.
Yeah, because I played the beta with you, and I'm like, fuck this game. This sucks. And then they said, burn it with fire.
They
And
literally
then
burned it with fire.
They literally did. In the story, they have a dragon destroy the entire world, and they're like, Realm Reborn. This is
Yeah.
the sequel to the game, but not really.
Yeah.
And
It's
that's
a
the
reboot.
best thing that ever happened, because it's one of the most, if not the most successful MMO right now.
It's incredible.
I think it's the most. Don't,
yeah,
quote, don't quote me.
Especially on console.
It's top 3 easy.
Like on console for sure, that game is highly successful.
I played on a free weekend. I really liked it, but it's very overwhelming when you first jump in, because
Yeah.
there's a lot.
And I'm a Final Fantasy nerd, so that just like fulfills all of that for me. The combat it's slow at first, but it gets so much better.
Yeah, once you start getting more abilities.
Yeah. And if you actually play through the story and watch all the cinematics, like, it's really rich. There's a lot of stuff. The characters are so likable. Music's insane. The boss battles are so, like...
You showed me some of the boss battles, and you like played up the music, and you're like, listen to how epic this is. I'm like, oh shit.
It's so cool. And yeah, most recently they came out with Shadowbringers, which is like fucking top-notch storytelling, man. I'm not going to spoil anything. It's probably one of the best stories for sure in an MMO, but like I would compare that shit to, bold statement, Last of Us.
Oh,
Like in terms of like how good it is, how rich it is.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
nice.
But the thing is about games like that, they're never ending, you know? Last of Us
pretty much
is like here.
Yeah, there's an end, but
Yeah.
14 is going to keep going.
Yeah, but he's talking about the Shadowbringers, so that's just
Yes.
that story arc within it.
Because
Yes.
Realm Reborn and Shadowbringers, the new expansion pack,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Because pretty much once you finish the main story,
Which is Shadow Reborn.
that's it. You're kind of in a loop of just getting better.
like Endgame.
Exactly. You're in endgame mode. So that's why Shadowbringers brings in a whole new chapter.
Yeah.
Once you reach that end, you're like, all right, wait, give me the next story batch.
Yeah, so for anyone that like plays MMOs regularly, it's the PvE part of it where you like do dungeons and raids and stuff. That is amazing. If you like PvP, you're not going to like this game because it's virtually non-existent.
Good thing, because I do not like PvP.
Yeah, it's non-existent.
And
It's-
it doesn't make sense for Final Fantasy as a brand, so I think that makes perfect sense.
there's like
Warcraft, literally, it's in the title.
yes,
But for Final Fantasy, it doesn't really scream fight each other.
Nah.
Not really.
It's more like
It's-
join up and let's do this.
Yeah, it's a sense of adventure to fight
Yeah.
creatures. That's essentially what Final Fantasy's always been about.
yeah. Which I was about to put WoW on this, but technically it came out in 04.
Oh,
But
yeah, you can't put WoW
It's
on it.
still going strong, and I still play it to this day. But if I had to pick one, 14. For
Nice,
sure.
nice. Good choice. I agree with that.
And,
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, yeah, for sure, like Final Fantasy 14 is like one of the beloved like tales of redemption in terms of video games.
Oh hell yeah, man.
it's
like
insane.
so
It's up
many,
there.
so many games have like come out and then like
Flopped.
died and, flopped.
And they couldn't
Yeah.
adjust to the times.
Yeah.
All
And
these
I-
like Kickstarter games too,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
immediately fail.
even the games like that, because Final Fantasy 14 had so much hype around it as well. So like when I think about Final Fantasy 14, I think about No Man's Sky, Anthem currently.
No,
like,
Anthem is nowhere near redemption.
not yet. But
yeah,
you never
but
know.
you can't say
I don't-
it's redemption
wait,
if it hasn't
Well,
redeemed itself.
Rainbow
I'm trying,
Six.
I'm trying to
Rainbow
say,
Six.
Rainbow
Yeah.
Six. but
Rainbow Six is a redemption.
I'm trying to say like games that are trying to redeem themselves. Like
Ah,
Anthem
okay.
is trying, but I think Final Fantasy 14 is like the one that did it.
14, No Man's Sky, and Rainbow Six.
And Rainbow Six are
highly
the
redeemed
top
themselves.
3 redemption stories.
Right.
Like
So-
out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah, because Rainbow Six was okay, and then it just blew up.
And then they did a free to play weekend, and everyone was like, "Hey, it's not so
It's
bad."
not bad, yeah, and they blew up. And No Man's Sky, you know, fucking, it was essentially like, hey, this is where the game is gonna be, and it wasn't.
Yeah,
and
I-
it just fucking
Oversold for sure.
oversold itself, and,
And
it
it-
became. And now it is what it was.
And it's like,
was
give us a
wanted to be.
year. This is what you wanted, and more. And you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay,
Yeah,
thanks."
they've done a lot to the game, and it's pretty cool how they've done that. So and again, back to Final Fantasy, it's amazing how they redid the entire game from the ground up. It wasn't like, hey, let's just patch things in and let's do this and that. No, they destroyed the first version
Yeah.
and rebuilt it from the ground up, which is amazing. Like how can. And it's smart enough for Square Enix to at least give them money to do that, because not a lot of, like, it's like, let's say EA would never destroy Anthem and rebuild it again.
But here's the
They
other
would never
thing.
do that.
The reason why Final Fantasy did it so perfectly too is there's a lot of people that are into the lore, into the story, and they found a way to implement it into the story. So it's
Right.
canon. Like whatever you did before, don't worry, it meant something canon wise. It all mattered.
Yeah. You
So-
get to literally, if you can watch a video of when the 1.0 servers were going down to like finish the game. Everyone is like, there's a group of people huddled together, like saying goodbye. And
Oh,
then
nice.
you look up at the sky, and then when the server shut down, a cinematic started playing
Of
the cataclysm happening.
Right. It was the dragon that came out of a planet, like the moon, essentially.
much, yes.
Yeah. And it just went, fuck
And
everyone.
Literally destroyed the planet.
And I think the game takes place years later, and it's like, hey, life is back. That's pretty cool.
We're back on our feet.
How many have you said so far? Are you
That was 8. I have 2
nice?
more.
All right, keep it going.
Stardew Valley.
I've been meaning to get into it. I'm slacking.
So it's not on my list at all. But holy shit, did I play so much hours of that game?
Oh, really?
hours.
You tried it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it was so addicting for me, and so I bought it on the PS4, and I was like, okay, this is really good, and I was like, fuck it, I'm buying it on the Switch, and I bought it on the Switch. So yeah, continue. I'll chime in.
Yeah, I didn't even think of it until like I thought of all the hype surrounding like Animal Crossing, and I had to include it because it's really comprehensive. It's just really cute. It's 8-bit. There's a lot of relationships you can develop, and if you're into like farming simulators, like Harvest Moon, stuff like that, this is a really good updated version of that.
I just love how simple it looks too. So it just shows you. I mean, it just reiterates stuff that we already know. But graphics don't mean shit.
They don't.
They don't mean shit.
There's a lot to do, and
That's essentially what Nintendo Switch is predicated on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I don't know if you've tried the multiplayer version, but I've heard that that's just awesome
I
too.
haven't. I want to though.
Good choice. And now that got me excited for Animal Crossing.
Okay. I think this is one we can all talk about. Overwatch.
I have that as an honorable mention.
Yeah.
I had to kick it out of my top 10,
It's-
but it was there.
What, Pedro?
I had
You
to kick
played
it out.
that game for like 3 years, dude.
I know. All right,
Dude,
continue.
the other games better be better.
Yeah, Overwatch. I mean, it's
Remember,
probably
it's the decade, dude. There's a
Overwatch
lot.
is probably the only shooter I play.
I think it is the only shooter you play.
Yeah, I mean, you and I used to play like Counter-Strike back in the day.
Yeah.
Do you guys crossplay?
No.
You can't. Not on
Oh, you
Overwatch.
can't still on Overwatch?
No.
Not for
Not
P- well,
yet.
it makes sense though for PC.
Come on,
Oh,
Blizzard,
to
you can do it.
PS4, nah, you wouldn't want to.
But you could Fortnite with consoles.
Yes, you can.
But you wouldn't want to though.
No, you don't, but you can. The thing is that you don't want to, but the option is that you can.
Have
Here's the
you
thing.
seen PC players on Fortnite?
Oh, they're insane,
Oh,
dude.
did
Yeah.
you?
They're insane.
My brother plays Widowmaker. I would never leave the base. So I'd just be like,
I'm not that good.
Okay. Oh, come on.
Very humbling. I'm not that good though.
You do the grapple, and while you're midair, you pop him in the face.
I try every time, but I don't always land it. Maybe like a 15% chance I land it. But yeah, like it has the MOBA elements that I really like because everyone is has their like distinct skills.
Yeah.
You can easily tell like who you're fighting just by their silhouette. Even though there's a lot of like different, costumes, cosmetics that people can have.
For sure,
skins.
but you could definitely tell who it is. Like you said, every character is created very uniquely in a way that you're like, oh, okay,
Right.
I know
I
that's
know who
Moira.
that is.
I know that's Roadhog. I know that's definitely.
It's one of the.
and even the sound effects, like you recognize their footsteps. It's amazing. Like you hear a corner and you're like, that's a Reaper right there.
Yeah, that's McCree.
That fucking
His little spurs
bastard
clicking
yeah.
around.
It's one of the first, not one of the first games, but one of the most identifiable games of terms of like characters in terms of like for a shooter, for like a multiplayer shooter, like
That has literally no story, but there's a story within the game.
right. And in a way where like normally we're used to like generic. I think now we're getting into a point where like shooters have personalities and like
Like Rainbow Six is doing that right now.
Yeah, but-
they're creating their own character cinematics, like
Yeah.
Overwatch.
But like Overwatch, I feel like introduced like the fact of like, hey, your generic character can be an actual like
It's somebody.
is somebody and has a background, has a story, and it's the first like shooter that I can think of that like gave so much love
Yeah.
to like its characters.
They were literally the first ones who did that.
Yeah.
I think so too. I think so too.
Because we see that now with Apex. Every
Apex,
character
yeah.
has a
Apex,
personality,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
Fortnite's trying.
it wouldn't be.
But-
Fortnite doesn't do that.
Yeah,
'Cause the
Fortnite
thing is that
doesn't do
Fortnite is all about the skins and how different your character can look.
yeah.
So like you are who you are and just character changes. So they don't have character based or skill based things. It's mostly like Apex, Rainbow Six,
Yeah.
Overwatch, and Overwatch has essentially introduced that to the world. Like,
Yeah.
hey, your multi-online player, online multiplayer game isn't just from fucking dudes you
Yeah,
choose. These are people, like these are characters that have like everything that you will want from a character in a regular game. The thing is, you play online with them,
Yeah.
and I think that's what makes it fun.
And Apex is doing a pretty good job of that too. Like I used to
Now
play
they
that
are.
for a while,
Yeah.
but for me, Overwatch takes the cake.
yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I played a lot of Overwatch. I played a lot with you, actually.
Yeah,
We- we- and-
I always try to convince these guys to jump on with me every time there's like
The
a
events.
new season.
And even when I play it, I don't have a bad time. Like it's a fucking
No.
solid game.
It's a
Like,
good game.
It's a good game. Like all in all,
Yeah.
it's a phenomenal
And
game.
you know what? Now that you mention that it is MOBA-ish, and I fucking hate MOBAs, but you're absolutely right. It's a more, I don't even know if complex is the right word.
No, it's not complex.
It's a more, it's a shooter MOBA.
Yes.
It's a shooter MOBA, and I'm cool with shooter MOBAs, just not MOBA.
Because
MOBA.
like in MOBAs, you have to kind of find characters that counteract other people's abilities, and that's essentially what you do in Overwatch.
Yep.
That's
Like,
true.
So
You're like, oh, you're playing this guy. You just use a Reaper to take out that tank.
Yeah.
And you're done. Yeah.
Exactly.
You're absolutely right.
And it's fun. It's definitely a very fun game. Especially the other modes they have during events are awesome. Like
Oh, yeah.
no game does that.
I
like that.
My new favorite is the capture the flag. That's the Blitz. That is
Yeah.
my fucking game of choice now. I love it. I win almost all the time. I'm fucking owning in that mode. Every other mode, fuck that. Especially elimination. I can't do elimination, but capture the flag Blitz. That's my shit.
I just do death matches.
Yeah,
I love those ones.
I suck at those.
That was my 10th game, but I'm gonna quickly like.
Wait. Are you gonna do honorable mentions?
Yeah,
Well,
I just have
after-
one.
after.
I literally have one.
Okay.
And it will segue into yours
Oh,
because
okay.
it's Portal 2.
Ah, you saw my list.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean,
All right, since you have one, we'll let it slide.
I mean, Portal 2. I mean, because I love Gladys so much as a character, as a villain, and I mean Wheatley in Portal 2 is so good.
The voice acting is amazing. Like the first one is so good, but it's so mysterious and minimal. It's really just you and Gladys. But in this one,
Yeah.
they added an extra layer of characters to it, and it's just like, yeah, this definitely
Yeah.
feels more
And
rounded.
The co-op is so much fun. I
haven't tried co-op. I need to.
the puzzles are insane. I mean, if you love puzzles, why the hell not?
I agree. That game is fucking awesome. It just really made me think of everything differently. It's just like, oh my god, wait a minute. That concept to me blew my mind. The fact that you can create a portal and then you can walk through and then you can create inertia to then make a jump and clear it. It's just like, holy shit. So I can't even imagine that in co-op, which I have it now, so we should totally play co-op.
Oh yeah.
Because I heard that campaign is a whole other animal of greatness, and I have been missing out on it. But yes, that is actually on my list of top 10 games. That's why he looked at it. It was revolutionary. I mean, I know the first one technically did it first and was revolutionary, but the second one did it so much more, I don't know, fast pace and just the addition of different things too. It was just, yeah, I absolutely love the second one.
Yeah, I never played any of the Portal games, but it's rare that games become like iconic in terms of like
Yeah.
not social media, but just like pop culture.
Yeah, the
And
cake is a lie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Portal is like pop culture.
The companion cube was everywhere. I saw that on
Yeah.
every fucking car. There's a bumper sticker of the companion cube in every
Yeah.
fucking car when that game
Yeah,
came
the
out.
cake is a lie.
The cake is a lie. Everywhere.
Yeah,
And there were all memes of that. Of
Portal
jokes.
for sure is like, even if I never played it, but it's for sure like it has reached pop culture level of like importance, and so like
Yeah.
that's just alone tells you like how great it was and how like it like has stand the test of
sure.
time for
Yeah.
sure.
That's definitely true.
Alrighty.
So
Now
now to your list.
my top 10 list, a good chunk of them have been mentioned already, so I'm just going to skim past them. So I got Last of Us already mentioned.
There we go,
Beautiful
baby.
game. God of War, the 2018 version.
There you go.
Great fucking game. Red Dead Redemption 1,
Yeah.
a.k.a. Red
Obviously.
Dead 2, according to Armando.
There you go.
So
Red Dead
annoying,
2,
dude.
guys. Red Dead 2. Yeah, you
Beautiful
played
game.
that shit massively, Pedro.
Yeah. And I'm just going to keep going.
You didn't like 3?
What?
Red Dead Redemption 2?
Jesus fucking Christ. Red Dead Redemption 2 was amazing, but if I had a gun to my head and had to choose one.
Easy.
No, there was just something about the shock that I felt and the tragedy,
Of the ending
the
of one.
ending
Yeah.
that I felt. I'm just like, that sat with me more than 2 because, like Orlando said, Red Dead Redemption 2, you have a sense of hope because you know what's coming next. But in this one, it's just kind of like, damn.
Wait. Are you sure you have a sense of hope?
Absolutely.
No, in
Since
my
technically speaking,
opinion,
you already know how the story
in
ends,
my
so there's not
opinion,
really hope.
I knew the main character of Red Dead Redemption 2. I knew it was gonna be bleak, the ending, because I didn't see him in Red Dead Redemption 1.
That's also true.
And so because of that, I was just like, all right, like I'm not surprised when this happens to you.
Right.
But-
It's just nice to see the journey of redemption in his eyes. It's just very nice to see.
Right.
But there was definitely more of a sense of fucking tragedy. I mean, they both were full of tragedy because
Yeah, they were very tragic.
Part 2 is about an end of an era of the
Yeah.
Wild West. But I don't know. To me, Red Dead actually made me sit there when the game was over. I just sat there in silence, like the true ending. I just sat there in silence and kind of just went like, "Damn, that shit was fucking good." I loved Red Dead 2, Red Dead Redemption 2, but this really gave me that like, fuck, this is a goddamn masterpiece, and I played it multiple times. So
Yeah.
next on my list, GTA 5,
I have that on my list.
without a doubt. GTA 4.
I never beat it.
GTA 5, and I'm talking about story mode. I'm not even getting into the online.
The online is insane.
The online is a whole other animal of
Holy
revolutionary.
shit,
like
yeah.
the fact that there's so much shit.
The role players.
Oh, yeah.
The role, everything is insane.
Everything.
You can role
Everything's
play. You
insane.
can do whatever the fuck you want, and that's amazing.
It's
But
insane.
I'm just talking about specifically
Story.
the story.
Did you like the three
Yes,
character?
I loved it. What I didn't like was that you get to do multiple endings, and depending on the endings, it affects your after gameplay. You essentially have to choose the best ending in order to get
Keep all three.
in order to fulfill the best possible choice for an after game. So, but honestly, that's the only really good ending. So, my only nitpick is the fact that they give you a choice for endings. That's stupid. Just give me the legit fucking ending where everything is gravy, and then you get to
Like the ending you want us to have. Like
yeah, the ending you want
like,
us
give
to
me
have.
the story.
Yeah.
Again, I
So-
always take
so-
it back to Last of Us. It's
so-
like,
yeah.
like Last of Us gave you the story. Like here, this is the story. Take it or leave it.
You
So I'm like,
you didn't get a choice.
yeah, don't give me the option, dude. Like, because in the end, none of it fucking matters.
Right.
So just give me the story as you intended it to be, and let me play for it. Like it doesn't matter
Yeah.
what happens. Just
To
give
be
it to me.
fair, that was the one that I wanted already. So I saved before. I did it, and I'm like, this is amazing. I wonder what happens if I do this. And when I did it, I went, this fucking sucks. So I had to load the game back and do it again in order to get the post game
actual, yeah.
experience. But yeah, it was just it really knocked all the other games out of the park. I thought, man, 4 is amazing. How can 5 make it better? And I'm like, holy shit, 5 made it better in every fucking way possible.
And it's like the details of that game.
And I loved
Oh
as
my
well
God.
that the online didn't come out right away. They're like, wait a minute, play the story, get used to it.
Well, because they fucked up with the online, right? I think.
I just think it just wasn't ready on time,
wasn't
which is
ready.
fine. Don't rush it if it's gonna suck. And you know, people don't give a fuck about the story, and they'll rush online and they'll suck. Play the story, get good, and then go online afterwards after months and months. So that was
Yeah,
amazing.
online is massive. Dude. Like, there's
I
no-
remember I had to wait an hour and 20 something minutes to get online that day because everyone wanted to jump on that day. And when I got on, it was absolute fucking chaos. It was
Yeah.
chaos, and it was amazing chaos.
It's funny because GTA 4 had an online portion and it was sucked. It was shitty as fuck.
Yes, I agree.
And then when you get onto
because
this one,
it didn't really feel as open world as this one did.
I think it just felt empty.
Yes.
Because it was just the same map, but there was nothing to do. It was like, hey, go do deathmatch over here. I'm like, all right, cool. I mean, that's it. Like,
Yeah.
there was nothing else going on. And this one gave you the same map. And
The exact
you could
same
do
map.
everything you want in this
Yeah.
game. Like,
Everything that's there is open.
yeah.
Everything.
And
You're
that,
like,
and
whoa.
that was what's fascinating about it. I'm
You
like,
want to
this
play
is massive.
darts with people?
Go
Fucking
for
go
it.
and play darts with people.
Yeah.
Play tennis. Remember we had to play tennis?
Yeah.
We wanted to get that that achievement.
Yeah, that shit was funny. So it's a massive game that you got even more massive online. And I bet you if we were all go online right now,
And
we
would
lost
jump
the
in
meta.
that. Yeah.
We lost what it is. You know,
Yeah.
like there's no point to even catch up.
All right. Next on my list, I got Breath of the Wild. That to me is the reason why I dropped Skyrim to honorable mention because Breath of the Wild is my fucking Skyrim. That game was so mind-blowingly open once you pass the tutorial phase. It is like holy shit. I have anywhere to go. Like I could literally do any of these dungeons at any way that I want. And I just loved how it felt a lot like the old one, only the old one was hard as fuck. So this one actually felt a little better. But it's just you had the ability to do everything. Like I remember one of the first things I ever did was I got a torch and I walked under an apple tree and it started cooking the apples while it was on the tree. And I was like, what the fuck? And then I grabbed the apple and it says baked apple. When you eat it, you got health. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Just the physics of the game. And once you get with like the Sheikah Slade and you have to do all the other dungeons and shit, just the physics of the dungeons, fucking mind blowing.
Yeah, I that's one of the games I played a lot. I did all the 4
Dungeons, the main
dungeons.
ones. But you didn't beat Ganon?
And then I was like, I get the game, and I stopped playing.
Oh my God, you had
'Cause
one
it's
guy left.
Once I get the gameplay loop, the story's not there, and for sure, Zelda does not have like a compelling story at all.
But the story is what you make it. That's what I like so much about this because you create your own journey, your own story.
Right.
It was just it just felt like
the story of the game is like, oh shit, discovering.
yes.
That's the game. That's the
That's what it
story.
is. So
Like, I can't believe I saw this, or
Yeah.
I chased down that flying dragon, and it led me somewhere.
So this is a game that in Armando, where you like to, where you'll be like, oh man, I ain't got time for this. This is a game where you can't have that mindset. You got to be like, you know what? Let me just take it one day at a time.
yeah.
If I'm gonna waste an entire fucking day exploring this mountain and there's nothing there, that's okay because here I found a few things. I got a few shit.
Yeah, it's one of those games where
and
it's
then
like,
it's
oh, I wonder
like-
what's over there. I wonder what's over here.
You know how many times I went, man, that looks awesome, and I went in and I'm like, there was nothing here. but this, and this. Oh, that's cool. I could use this for something later. And then I went to a spot where I'm like, let me just go there. It doesn't look like anything. And there's a fucking cave and everything. And I'm like, holy shit, I didn't know this was here. It's just that sense of adventure. Like, I don't know whether I'm going to waste my time or not, but at the end, I felt like I never wasted my time with anything.
No, I agree. It's a phenomenal.
Anything.
In terms of like discovery, physics, just the overall, like, if you think you can do it, you probably can do it. That's like Zelda was one of those first is like the first game that introduced that, like, can I do this if I do this? And you're like, oh shit, I can. I can like start a fire and then like and then like take out my like
and then burn the entire fucking forest accidentally,
and then
which
the wind,
is what happened.
and then the wind comes up and then I can like fly on the wind. Like it took one of those things where like, oh, can I use the physics of this game to propel me over this mountain?
Yes.
To go over this tree.
Yeah,
and
because
like,
there's multiple ways to get to an area.
Right. And so that alone.
You could even climb everywhere if you really wanted to.
Right.
But I think that's boring.
Yeah.
Just fucking find other ways.
And overall, like that, just that alone, it deserves a spot.
Yeah, you could chop down a tree to create a bridge.
Yeah, I just didn't do it because for me, I didn't put it on my list because for me, like, I understand the importance of it and how great it is as a game and like how like fundamentally it changes like RPGs forever. Like no game is doing what Zelda's doing now, but like in the next gen, next couple games, you cannot have an open world game and not incorporate what Zelda did.
Yeah, I actually think Death Stranding was Kojima's way of trying to incorporate that sense of adventure.
Right.
But to me, fucking Breath of the Wild.
Right.
Did it in spades.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's revolutionary. Like you cannot
definitely,
like, especially playing games like playing old RPGs. Like I played like Mad Max like a few times.
It's fun, but it's fun. Nothing.
But then when you play it, you're just like the sense of adventure. Like why can't I just go through this? Why can't I jump past this little step?
Yeah, because your jump is a baby hop, and you're like,
right,
I should be able to climb this.
Exactly.
In Breath of the Wild, it's like you can climb it. You might even reach the top if you're like leveled up enough.
Exactly.
Or you eat enough shit. And when you get up there, you're like, what was the point of going up here? It's just a nice view. I've done that quite a few times. And then sometimes I found those little fuckers that are hiding, and I'm like, thank God I climbed up here. I found it.
Yeah, even the games that come out recently, like obviously game development takes years and years and years. So I feel like what Zelda did, we won't see it replicated again until like possibly next gen.
Maybe, yeah,
but
not even maybe. Yes, you're right.
Because in general, even like Force what the fuck?
Force, yeah.
The game.
Jedi Knight?
Jedi Knight.
No, Jedi Fallen Order?
Fallen Order.
Fallen Order. Like, that's a game that came out, like, last year. And, like, you're still like, why can't I go here? Why can't I do this? And you're just like...
Why can't I drop down like Uncharted that was made 10 years ago?
Right.
Yes, I know.
And so, it's one of those things where, like... Zelda is so revolutionary that the games coming forward have to learn from it.
Yes.
So for sure, it deserves.
It definitely needs to be a blueprint for any game that wants to mimic this style.
Right.
For sure.
Like the Elder Scrolls 6 can't come out and be Elder Scrolls 5.
Yeah.
For sure. Because
it has to be at least on this level.
Yes.
At least.
Agreed.
Yeah. Next on my list, BioShock Infinite. You already mentioned it. Portal 2. Brother already mentioned it. And I got Assassin's Creed Origins, baby.
Not Odyssey?
No, because I didn't beat Odyssey. But the reason
not Black Flag?
So Black Flag was my shit, but that wasn't within the last 10 years.
Okay. It wasn't? I saw it on people's list.
It wasn't? Well, anyway, so the reason why I'm picking Origins is because this was essentially a soft reboot of the series. It's like, oh, yeah, you've played the same exact game for the last I don't know how many years.
Exact game.
Once you level up, you can chain kill like 10 people and there's no sense of danger.
Yeah, Black Flag came out in 2013.
Okay, but even that being said, it might just get an honorable mention. I think Origins did such a great job of remaking an entire franchise that was just copy pasta. So it's just the fact that they incorporated action and then RPG. And then that sense of adventure that you can get from Breath of the Wild, only nowhere near as good as Breath of the Wild, but still the same idea of it. I was able to in Assassin's Creed Origins go to certain places and explore, and then I'll find stuff, collectibles. So this was just a series that I was about to give up on, and then they did this, and I was like, holy shit, you fucking did it. And then they continued it with Odyssey, which I haven't beaten. But so yeah, Assassin's Creed without a doubt, Assassin's Creed Origins. Awesome. And since it's the first one in the timeline, you could just play it first and don't even worry about the rest. because
It's the first one in the
series.
in the series timeline.
Well, now the Odyssey came out, it's even earlier. Wait,
Odyssey is
no,
the first
sorry.
one,
Origins is before,
and then Odyssey,
and then Odyssey.
and then what? Like 1, 2, and 3.
Essentially,
Yes. hmm
Yeah.
There's a few other spin-offs in there somewhere.
Honestly, the story of Assassins is so convoluted now that
yeah.
I'm just
yeah,
like,
But the story is not. It's an interesting idea, and I really like
that's
it.
why I liked where you get to see this is where it all started.
right.
So don't worry about all the other shit afterwards. They even tie in the movie to this.
Wow.
Which is very interesting. They did. They tied in the movie. The
Holy
chair that
shit.
you use is from the lady that created the chair in the movie, the weird one. But then she was like, nah, mine's better. So she creates an even better one. And they even mention it. Caleb, which was the assassin from the movie. They mention it by name if you get into like all the lore and
Because
stuff.
I know you're into like the lore of Assassin's Creed for some
Yes, even though
odd reason.
even though I hate the movie. I'm into I mean, I don't know it like that, but
But you're into it. You're like, you actually know the story for some.
yeah, I do know like 90% of the story, I would say. A lot of the side shit, I'll probably like start reading and I'm like, all right, this is gibberish. And then I'll just fucking give up on it. But yeah, I'm super into it. All right, next on my list, I got Cuphead.
Wow.
Oh
Yeah.
shit!
Yeah, Cuphead is the great dude.
It's one of my favorite games because it gave me that nostalgia of just like these hard as fuck games from the Nintendo, Super Nintendo era of just like, it's just simple. And I love that art style. The art style of like the
It's
20s,
beautiful.
30s. It's like the old animations I would watch, like the Tex Avery, the old Looney Tunes. Actually, even before Looney Tunes, honestly. But like the original Mickey, Steamboat Willie, like that type. And it just felt so fun. And it was such a, I don't know, it was just such a fun, innocent story, but still like throwing in this, I don't know, like they'll throw in this, like the smoking and like a little sexual innuendos in there. So they still add their little like R-rated shit, kind of. But the character design's amazing. The music is absolutely
music is fucking
phenomenal.
great, man.
I'm like tempted to like buy the vinyl
good.
because it's
Yeah,
so fucking
it's
good.
really good
I
music.
listen to it on Spotify and I'm like, this shit gets me pumped.
Yeah.
And, you know, I die multiple times on the bosses, so I have those songs memorized. So I hear it and I just get frustrated sometimes because I'm like, yeah, it took me forever to kill you. But
Yeah, that game is great.
there's
dude.
no other game that's been able to mimic that style, that nostalgia that it's given me. And it's the only one. It's completely original. I'm sure there'll be a lot of people copying it afterwards, but that's, well, the one. And it was just like this genuinely fun game that they tried really hard to make, and they made it. And
They
I'm
pulled
so
it
glad.
off. Because essentially that game was smaller than what it was supposed to be.
Yeah, it was supposed to be only
And
boss
then-
battles.
And then Microsoft gave it money.
So they did the run and gun.
And it did more stuff to it, which is cool because, like, I thought it was going to fuck it up. Like, making the scope bigger.
Right.
But it actually made the game better.
It did.
And it's just like, fuck,
definitely.
dude.
You doubled the size of the game and you still made
And
it
you
fun.
killed it, man.
And then you added something extra to it. Like there's a mode now if you do the run and gun stuff without killing anyone and without getting hurt.
Yeah.
If you do that to all of them, which is impossible. But
I've
people
seen
have done
speedruns.
it. People have done it. And
Speedruns of that.
Yeah,
It's insane.
people have done that, and then you can get the entire game in black and white. Which to me, I was just like, oh my god, this is amazing because
Yeah.
I really want to play it in black and white.
Yeah.
But whatever.
And
That's gonna be
it's-
too hard for me.
What I find interesting about all this is that Microsoft never bought this studio after that.
They probably thought that after this you ain't got shit.
I don't know, dude.
And maybe the studio's not big enough to.
Well, it's
do
not big
their-
enough, but it's like a group of like 10 people. But the thing is that like these guys have ideas and potential.
Mm-hmm.
And like you buying the ideas and potential. You're not buying the game itself. You know, you're just buying what the studio could do for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think Microsoft doesn't have enough of that. Because what if you give them enough money? What can they make?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe they could make something fucking bigger and better. You know what I'm saying? Like not even a bigger Cuphead, but just like an entire different game that has a whole bunch of creativity in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just amazing, you know? So I'm just like, I think maybe Microsoft is waiting for them to drop another one
And then see if they
and
have
see
the
if that.
potential.
But they should buy them, dude.
I don't think their sophomore game is going to be that good because this one has been it's so long for them to do it that the second one they got to rush to make another one. I don't think so.
Well, they haven't rushed anything, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Cuphead came out a long
We'll
time
see.
ago already.
All right, that was number 9, and 10 on my list is Batman Arkham City. And the reason why I didn't put Spider-Man because this is
Called it.
my Spider-Man, dude. This game.
This is one of my honorable mentions.
This game is, I played this game so much. I beat this game like 2 times. I didn't beat it a third. But I beat it once, and then I went back and 100%ed it. And I almost got a platinum, but there's some challenges that are just ridiculous that I couldn't fucking do. But this game is so fucking good. It had just a great story, and I love this whole idea of the entire city being a prison, because spoiler alert, Arkham City, the entire city, is the prison where they put everyone in. So it just reminded me of like Escape from New York.
Yeah.
Just those nice post-apocalyptic things. Or even No Man's Land, which is one of my favorite comic
yeah.
storylines from the Batman series.
great one.
That's one. I always tell everyone, yo, you got to read No Man's Land. You've never seen that shit before. And then when they did Arkham City, I'm like, well, you could just play Arkham City and you'll get the No Man's Land idea pretty good. And just the Rogues Gallery that they brought into play, the side missions where you don't have to do the side missions, but you can do it to fight certain characters. Like, oh, you don't have to play the game and fight Mad Hatter. But if you
want to.
or Scarecrow, or I can't remember now. Now I'm mixing Arkham Knight with City, but City for sure was my favorite, and the ending was amazing. And then it kind of just showed a lot more of the Batman Joker dynamic, and like one without the other type of stuff. So it was really good shit.
Yeah, I haven't played it.
You're crazy. You should totally.
That's
play
the one with the Batmobile, right?
it. No,
that you never played City? Shit.
City doesn't have the Batmobile.
Oh, Cities 2.
Cities 2.
Cities
Oh, yeah, I
Part
played
2.
City. I played City.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I didn't play 3 then, but the one with the Batmobile.
I didn't play that one either. I played it, but then I was like, I hate the Batmobile.
Yeah, I keep hearing that. Everybody hates it, so I'm just like, I'm not going to even try.
Yeah, it's one of those games where like I wish that what I can do is just skip the Batmobile parts, or like
Yeah.
I wish they had 2 settings, like fighting normal Batmobile part very easy, so I could just like just get rid of like kill everyone like in one hit and then just move on.
Yeah.
So that's my top 10.
Yeah, Arkham City was pretty good. All right.
All right, Mondo, list the games that we already mentioned, and then you get to yours.
All right, so again, I don't play as much video games as you guys do. You guys play a lot of games. I really don't. So my list is probably dumb compared to you guys. So again, number 1, Last of Us, all day, every day, baby.
Yep.
That's the only game I have ranked. Number 1, Last of Us. I'll follow it up with Shadow of War / Mordor. Because I fucking played the shit out of Mordor and I Platinum War. And
Platinum War.
Yeah, Platinum
Nice.
War. That those games are amazing, dude. The Nemesis system is I spent
Mordor's an honorable mention. So
like
good choice.
I spent a week just fucking around with the Nemesis system. That's literally all I did. I didn't play anything else but doing Nemesis shit, dude. And it's just so cool how like you could level up your Uruks, and then like you could fucking like
That's in War.
and both of them. Like in War you level them up, but in
War,
the first one
you don't level them up in
no, but
in
you could
Mordor.
you could keep getting them. You keep
Right.
collecting them,
Right.
and fight them against each other, and shit like that.
Okay.
And then like they end up dying, you get another one. You know what I'm saying? It's so fucking awesome. Like that, the whole fucking system of the Nemesis is just it's a great system. Like I love it. And like I used to get lost with it just playing that, like literally just playing the Nemesis system, pitting guys against each other and like getting the stronger one, trying to get them stronger, and like I hated losing some of them, and it's just a very cool game, like cool system.
Yeah.
And I got lost in it, man. And the story itself is very interesting.
I bet you had an OPS team by the time you got to the end. Because
Yeah,
of the
no, my
Nemesis
team was
system.
pretty good, but again, there's still more to do, and I'm just like, I can't. Like, if I want to platinum this game, I can't just keep fucking around with the Nemesis system.
Right.
So I was just like, forget that, and like, if I want to, I could just jump in right now and just play Nemesis, and I'll be happy. I was like, oh man, I had a good time, you know. The story is interesting itself because it's essentially before the movies,
Yeah.
but it kind of leads into it with your character, and I think that was pretty cool. Like the whole idea of
Yeah, it's a cool little non-canon way to get into it.
Yeah, it's a nice little nod
But,
to it all.
but they do a pretty good job of tying it in.
Yeah, I forgot Troy Baker was the voice actor of him until I played it. I'm like, oh shit, it's Troy Baker.
You could pretty much just throw a dart, like close your eyes and throw a dart out to a bunch of games, and
Yeah.
it'll hit a Troy Baker game.
Yeah, I don't think he does a good British voice, but other than that, he's pretty cool. But the war just kind of upped the ante of Mordor, and I think that's fucking great. I still haven't run into
Kumail.
Kumail.
Damn, I ran into him twice, and I didn't even.
I
beat
never
it.
ran into Kumail. I'm just like, fuck, where is
He
he?
just
man?
sounds like Kumail. It's,
Yeah.
it's a really terrible choice.
He is literally just Kumail. It's so dumb.
He's like, why are orcs considered bad? I'm not bad. And he's just talking, and I'm like, what the fuck? This
Yeah.
is like the episode of Silicon Valley where you just voiced
Essentially.
over, you dubbed it.
It was so bad.
Very weird choice.
It's funny because he did a Conan thing for the Shadow War,
Yeah.
and Conan was just like, "Yo, you just sound like you." Like that's what they wanted.
Yeah, he was like, I did a voice, but they wanted me to do it like that. So I'm like, wow, that was a weird.
Yeah, they kind of fucked him over on that one. My number 3, again, this is not, other than Last of Us, everything else is not ranked.
Got it.
I'm just saying 3 because it's, counting up. Number 3 is Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of Pretioto.
The Guns of the Patriots.
Yeah.
There you go.
Metal Gear 4, I love seeing Old Man Snake, and this is like the future already, and I thought it was just like a fascinating.
2008 doesn't count.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like, man, I would have
No way.
added that on my
Yeah,
list.
'cause I
Never
was like-
mind. Scratch that.
I was like, wait a minute, I played that.
I would have added it on my list if it was,
Well, I guess I fucked up, kids. I could have. I thought it was.
Nah.
Anyways, skip that.
But good last decade list.
Yeah.
For sure.
So next one I have is GTA 5, Mass Effect 2. So
Yeah.
I don't have 10 anymore. I have 9 because of that blunder. So Mass Effect 2. Next up is XCOM 2.
Nice.
That game. Orlando introduced me to XCOM 1.
I did?
Yeah, you showed it to me. I'm
Do
like,
you
oh, man,
mean
it's pretty cool.
Alien Fire Emblem?
Essentially.
Pretty
Yeah.
close,
essentially.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But 2 is such a big game, dude. It took me forever to beat that shit.
I played 1 and I never got into 2.
Really?
I wasn't itching for that kind of game.
Oh, yeah?
Maybe now since I'm like, zoned in, maybe I'll play it.
Yeah, you could. I think
You
I,
have it. I have it. I have it.
Yeah, I have it. I think I download. It's a download.
Yeah,
so you can
I
get
have
from
it.
there.
I can get it from you.
Yeah, it's good, dude. It's big. It's bigger.
Did you
And
play
it-
1?
No, you just showed it to me.
Right.
But this game is so great, man. It's so fucking. It's a massive game. It took me forever to beat this game, dude. At some point, I was playing. I'm like, oh my god, when is this shit's gonna end? Because it was just kept going,
Yeah.
But it's so cool. Like, you get your team, you level them up, and like if they die, they die. That's it. They're gone.
Yeah. Did you
And then
name
have to
it?
recruit.
Permadeath, baby.
Yeah.
Because I named my team after my friends.
Yeah,
Because you can
and that was
change
funny,
everything
yeah.
about them.
Did I die?
All of you died.
Yeah. I didn't do that
So
because
he had to start going to second string friends.
Co-workers.
So my thing was that I didn't want to do that because I knew they were gonna die, and I think it's just a waste of time going into each character and naming them and then having them die. I'm just like, what a fucking waste. So I didn't do that.
But it gives you more of a sense to protect them then.
Yeah.
Because for me, it did. I was like, oh no, like,
But
pay
regardless,
design.
I had
save
that
them.
feeling because they were getting stronger, and I didn't want to lose them.
Right.
So I was just that happened to me. Like I felt protection because like the guy is so OP right now, and I can't lose him.
Right.
I think I lost some guy once, and I was like, turn that shit off.
Yeah.
I closed it down. Like I don't want to
Yeah, because
lose him.
you sometimes
Reload.
you send them in thinking like, oh, you can handle this, and then he gets bombarded. You're like, oh shit, come back. And you're like, oh fuck. Having
Yeah.
to fire them as well, where you're like, yeah, I'll send. I think Catherine is the one with the sword.
Well, did you
Fire
play
Emblem?
Fire Emblem with permadeath? So
I did.
in XCOM, do you have the choice or it's automatically permadeath?
I think it's part of the game, but the thing
Okay.
is that like
'Cause
I closed it out.
old school Fire Emblem did that. Now you have a choice.
Right.
You could play casually, and your units just die for the battle, and they come.
Yeah,
back.
they go, oh, I feel weak, and they run away. But if you want to play OG, that's the XCOM way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like the turn-based thing, like where
Yeah,
you
the tactical combat's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
exactly like I think that's the first game I ever played like that, and I think that's why I wanted to play Mario versus Rabbids.
Dude, Mario Rabbids is the same
Yeah.
style.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, essentially it's XCOM,
It's so fun.
and they straight up said we copied XCOM.
And it is what it is, man. It's a great style of game.
but XCOM took it in stride. Like, yeah, dude, like that's cool, and you guys did cooler things
Yeah.
that we want to do in our game now.
And then the XCOM guy should have said, well, we took it from Fire Emblem. Or Advanced Wars, and Advanced Wars took it from Fire Emblem. There's always...
Yeah.
I want to say
Final
Fire Emblem...
Fantasy Tactics did it too.
Final
Tactics
Fantasy-
did it.
Yeah, they've all done it. It's just such a great... they created a genre. I don't even know what that genre is called, but
turn-based.
It's just
Action.
tactical RPG.
tactical
Tactical
RPG, probably.
yeah, probably.
That's a great... Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that game was great, dude. And it looks, to this day, it still looks good. And it did a DLC that is also its own massive game. Essentially, it's like a Uncharted Lost Legacy.
Yeah.
That it's a DLC, but it's still its own fucking game.
So it's like almost like a third
Yeah,
game.
essentially. So that's the I was like, now I should buy it, and then I was just like, fuck, I don't have the time to play this old shit again, dude.
Yeah.
I'll just wait for the third one if it ever happens. But yeah, that game is fucking great, dude. I love it, man. Next up on my list, I have Horizon. We already talked about it. Spider-Man. We already talked about it. God of War. We already talked about it.
This is about to be over.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't play much. Last but not least, I have you guys are gonna laugh about this, but NHL 11.
Oh boy.
NHL 11. I was
A sports game.
Yeah, I was obsessed with NHL 11.
I
dude.
got a sports game on my honorable mentions. So
I know you did. NHL 11 for me, I was obsessed with that game, dude. I literally played that shit every day. I think I played against you, Len. I destroyed you.
played, like, one time.
Yeah, back in the day one. Yeah.
yeah.
But I was obsessed with that game, and I was so obsessed with that game that my fucking my controller, you know, the rubber part where the sticks are, they came apart because in that game you have to use the sticks in order to shoot. So I fucked up all my sticks, like all my control. I have like 4 controllers with the things apart because I obsessed with that. I played it nonstop, dude. I was so obsessed with that game. And yeah, man, that's probably the only other than like FIFA or Madden that like I was just so into it. But that's pretty much it for me. That's the end of my list. But I'll jump into honorable mentions.
Wait, actually, we have another list here.
Oh no,
So-
but that's after that. Let's do honorable mentions.
No,
first.
I mean, he's not here, so we should say his list and his honorable mentions because he actually broke it down.
Oh, bastard.
Okay.
Yeah, so Mike texted us because he's not here right now. He's at work, like some of us who are not. He texted us a list of his top 10.
And this is actually numbered.
His numbered. So I'm gonna go from 10 up. So at number 10, Uncharted 3, which I had. Number 9, Mass Effect 2. Number 8, Batman Arkham Knight, which the fuck I disagree. Knight over City, big mistake.
Big mistake.
Ridiculous mistake.
City's better. Night's great, but City's way better.
Yeah.
I think Mike. The thing is that Mike had no problems with the Batmobile. He actually really enjoyed
I
the Batmobile.
really hated it.
But I loved it. It's just that I think the City story was better because it had more of a Batman Joker dynamic that I liked more.
Number 7, Marvel Spider-Man. Number 6, God of War. Number 5, Last of Us. Number 4, Titanfall 2. So I
Interesting.
played Titanfall 2. I
have it.
I played the story.
Yeah. Did
I
you
di-
like the story?
I didn't beat
really
it,
enjoy it.
but I thought it was pretty good. I like the set pieces that the story
Yeah,
had.
of course. And I love how the whole mechanism of it all. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
But the game itself, I don't really think I enjoyed it as much.
right.
Like I was playing, I'm like, this game is alright, dude. Like I don't understand I never understood the hype of Titanfall.
Did you play it, Book?
No, but I played Apex, which takes place in the same universe.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I played the multiplayer. I thought the multiplayer is very fun. It's very fast paced.
It's very fast-paced.
Very fast paced.
I like the idea of like those foot soldiers you could kill.
Yeah, I like the gameplay
To make it
of
feel better.
Titanfall 2 more than Apex. Like I think,
Yeah. Okay. I see. What
I
you're
just think
coming
it's just very fast paced, very like. And if I die, like there's so many ways that you feel like you're winning by killing the grunts and killing like
from. Yeah.
the mechs.
Yeah. You feel OP when you're killing grunts, but then when
Yeah.
you go up against somebody,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
lose it all.
But when it's just there's so much going on that I feel like sometimes like I did pretty well in that game. I think sometimes like I like end up like third place, second place. I just got into it recently where I've been playing it. Just,
Oh, you got into it.
yeah, and I've been playing and I'm like I'm doing pretty good. And these are people who have probably been playing for years. But I just like the chaos of it. Like it's just such
Yeah.
a crazy.
It feels full.
Yeah.
You know what it reminds me of when we used to play Resistance 2? How full it felt.
Well,
I think that's how it feels.
I think Apex, you're capped at 5 each, so it's not that big of a.
Yeah, I know.
But it just feels like a lot. It's going on.
Because you have the grunts that fill
Yeah,
in the.
you have the grunts, you have the mechs.
Yeah, and that's what makes it makes it feel full.
Yeah.
and I think that's a lot of games are missing that fullness.
Yeah.
That like Resistance had because it had like 60 or 100 players in
Yeah.
one map,
Yep.
and it's a small ass map, you know. And I miss the idea of that fullness that you had in the game. So I really like. That's why I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah,
'Cause
I
like
feel-
let's say we were playing Call of Duty now. It's a big map, but it still feels small and it
Yes.
doesn't feel full.
Yeah, it doesn't feel full, but it also doesn't feel like it's gonna be forever until I find somebody either.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a typical battle royale in that
Yeah.
sense. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I feel like it's a very underrated shooter. I feel like it needs more
It is dude.
recognition.
But you know what? It's EA's fault.
Yeah.
EA Fall dropped it when it dropped it at the same like a week after or a week before Battlefield 5 or whatever
Yeah,
it was.
Battlefield 4.
I'm like,
Battlefield
why
1.
would you do that, dude? Like,
Yeah.
why would you drop 2 of the almost similar shooting games at the same time? Like,
Yeah.
you idiots.
I
dude.
mean, at this point, Respawn is like their best developer.
right? Yeah, because they did the Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah, so.
And they did that shit like in a year.
Yeah.
It's
So next game he has here, number 3, Borderlands 2.
Borderlands 2.
Nice.
Great
That's
game.
another game we all played together. Because I remember I never played that game by myself.
Yeah.
I've always played it with either Pedro, you, or Mike, and you guys carried me to beat that game. I never played that game by
Yeah,
myself.
2012. Yeah, Borderlands 2 is amazing.
Yeah. Pretty much the
and-
reason why looter shooters ever got started.
They invented looter shooters.
because part 1 was good, but it wasn't fucking great, and this was absolutely amazing.
It's a miracle you don't have that on your list because you played the shit out of Borderlands 2.
I did. It's just that, yeah, there's just so many. Dude, I had fucking 20 games already. And this one didn't make my honorable mention, but it would if I added more. But no, I'm 10 honorable mentions. That's it.
Yeah, Mike helped me beat the game actually at the end because he played this shit nonstop,
dude.
And at the end, I think you weren't playing anymore, so he helped me beat the game.
Yeah, me and Mike were doing something because I kept trying to loot this specific helmet for Zero, and you had to fight this fucking airship, and it was like a 1% chance of that drop. It's the only way to get it. And me and Mike must have done that like 10 times, and we didn't get it. And I'm like, fuck this shit.
Damn.
I'm just gonna live with the fact that I never got that fucking helmet.
Yeah.
All right, next game we had GTA 5 for
Yeah.
obvious reasons, and just gonna throw it out there. Can you guys guess his number one? Just throw a guess.
Destiny.
No, it's not Destiny. Monster Hunter, man. He loved Monster Hunter.
All right, guys, drum
Dude,
roll.
remember
I
that shit.
don't want to do a drum roll because it mess up the sound. But the winner is Destiny, obviously.
Destiny.
But wait, he didn't put.
He put Destiny 1.
Is it Destiny 1?
He put
but he
1.
plays 2 more than he ever played 1.
Well, because
I mean,
1 is
'cause two-
dead.
yeah,
One's
'cause
a
2 is
dead
out
game.
no,
now.
I know, but I'm saying that he, out of the both of them, he played more obsessively. I think he played 2 more obsessively than 1.
But I
Yeah,
think,
but
I think it
also-
was out of necessity.
and I think
he's just in love with the world.
Yeah, and I think you gotta throw it to 1 for starting it off.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, 2 isn't that much of a grand leap from 1.
I not at all.
So you
In
just have
any
to
way.
just give it to 1 because it started his
Yeah.
obsession.
Yo, Destiny is by far one of the best
Shooters.
shooting games ever.
Yeah, the mechanics are just smooth.
It
It's just
feels
very smooth.
so fucking good, man.
It's just the plot is absolute
garbage.
ass.
Yeah, there's nothing in
And it's
that.
crazy from the people that made like Halo, in my opinion, one of the best story-wise shooting games of all time.
I
Now,
think
Destiny 2 definitely bumped up the plot. Like, I'm really into the plot as far as Destiny 2, but I mean, you fucked it up at 1. Like, you made
Honestly,
it dead and barren.
I think it was all Activision's fault. Because the thing is that Destiny, for when you first saw the first few things like happening from Destiny, it was not what it ended up being.
No.
It was super different.
It's closer to what 2 is becoming.
Yeah.
Becoming still happening.
So I think Activision told them to fucking cut a lot, and they did end up cutting a lot. They cut a lot of the story. They cut the almost the majority of the shit of Destiny. But what carried the game was this gameplay, dude.
Mm-hmm.
The gameplay is amazing in that game, and to this day, man, I play that game and I shoot, and it's
Yeah, whenever I jump
fucking
back
fantastic.
on, like, I jumped back on into 2 recently because it was free to play, and I was just like, this game is amazing. It's just...
It is good.
Yeah,
it's
man.
so good, man. I'll start off with my honorable mentions because I don't have a lot.
Wait, that was the end.
that,
of
that
it.
was the end of his list.
Oh, okay.
So my honorable mentions will be Apex.
Nice.
I
Nice,
love
of course.
Apex.
You play it all the time,
I
man.
play that shit every day.
Yeah,
Still.
you're like, good on. I'm like, I don't like battle royale games.
That game is so good.
And
man.
here I am downloading fucking Call of Duty.
I think you'll like Call of Duty more.
Like for example, for me, like the reason why I don't play Apex, it's a phenomenal game. It's a
good
great
game.
game. But I feel like Call of Duty is more grounded,
Apex is fast, dude.
and so I feel like I feel like I have a chance to win in
Yeah.
Call of Duty.
But you haven't.
Not win, but I have a chance to like get kills.
Dude, yesterday I won 3 times.
In Call of Duty?
No, dude, in
Apex.
Apex. You know what I'm saying? Like the thing is that Apex is
In a team.
Yeah, in the squad. For
Oh,
sure.
it's always squads. Never
Yeah, it's
mind.
squads.
Apex, forgot.
It's one of those games that it's fast paced, so you have to get used to how fast it is. And
Right.
if you're not fast enough and you good enough, if you're not quick on your trigger and healing, you'll never win.
I will
Right.
say, out of the battle royale, I agree. Apex to me is way better than Fortnite.
But I was obsessed with Fortnite for a period too.
Yeah, but Apex is
Can't.
superior to me.
I can't with Fortnite.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't-
just too much going on.
You
It's
just like shoot someone and they just like build the Taj Mahal in like 5 seconds. Like, what
Taj
do I do? What am I supposed to do
but
now?
you can't. You have to. It's essentially a build fight. That's you're essentially doing a build
You
fight.
have
at
to
that
build
point.
your Taj Mahal that's higher, so you could jump on top of his Taj Mahal
Yeah.
and then
you,
bomb
you
it.
have to
I can't
essentially
get behind that.
You have to outbuild him in order to get him.
You're like an
You know what I'm
army
saying?
of termites. You just
Like I understand the mechanical skill that's happening, like the Finger Olympics they have to do to
It's
like
insane,
build that
dude.
shit. But like, man,
it's totally finger
I can't do
Olympics.
it.
It's insane how crazy
Fuck
you have
that.
to build.
Do people build as fast as people build in PC?
No, for
Because
no,
it-
definitely no.
'cause
Yo,
I've seen-
PC is just like in 5 seconds they have like 10-layer building.
yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
not because the thing is in the
you
controller.
would have to remap your controller scheme in a way, and even then,
I remapped my controller in order to build faster. The thing is that you could build fast because I've gone against people that fucking straight up outbuild the shit out of you, and those people play consistently. But you would never outbuild the PC.
ever.
You can't.
No, I've seen videos.
It's impossible.
I'm like, this is
Those motherfuckers are so quick. on
That
the
is the
build.
reason why I wasn't a fan.
and how they do the edits. The thing is, you could build something and then you edit something,
And then you edit a window
Yeah.
so you can
and you
shoot.
could shoot and edit it out and edit this and edit stairs and edit. Dude, it's insane.
The
like
traps in it and everything.
it's
It's like this doesn't feel like Hunger Games the game anymore. It just feels like a bunch of architects got stranded on an island and they're all special forces. And it's like, what? Who thought this was an interesting plot?
That game.
I mean, for what it is, Fortnite at the end of the day is iconic and will
There's no doubt.
will
It is
be
no doubt.
it's revolutionary.
Yeah,
Revolutionary.
it's slowed down from
I-
its height, but it's still there. Dude.
No, that season 2, that thing that was revolutionary. That
But the
was
season
that was
passes.
the way they ended the game and restarted. That's Final Fantasy 14 level shit.
With the black hole and all
Yeah.
That I hadn't heard of that until since the
But
MMO.
again, if you think about it, Fortnite invented seasons. Because Fortnite invented those season passes and all that bullshit with the loot and all that crap. They did that because
You're
then
right.
every other fucking game did it.
You're right.
Everybody copied that shit. They did events that what has never happened in games before. I mean, maybe in WoW, but
Yeah.
Right, but as
massive
far
it
as a
was,
shooter,
Yes.
like they created events within the game that you had to spectate. You're like, oh shit, what's going on? And they created all this bullshit. They created lore within like a shooter that other games are not using.
Yeah,
They're doing lore.
Do you know the Palpatine? For those who have seen Rise of Skywalker, the very beginning it says Palpatine projected himself and talked to everyone, and the movie just starts, and you're like, what did he say? You had to play Fortnite to find out what he said because he projected it in Fortnite. I was like, the fuck?
So what did he say?
I don't know. He just says, "I'm back, bitches." I don't know. Something weird.
Oh, in the opening crawl when it says that
Yeah.
he's been telling everybody.
Yeah, he's back.
that
Yeah.
he's back.
So that
Oh,
opening crawl is in
shit.
Fortnite, and I didn't see a video of it, but I saw an article saying that that's where it is.
Oh man, I did not fucking know that.
Yeah.
What a fucking collaboration.
That's how
Yeah.
crazy it is. That
But Fortnite
That
you
does that
you
already.
you released like the biggest part of like your media, like your like news to a video game. That's how crazy it is.
But Fortnite did it a lot. Like they did that with Avengers.
Yeah.
They had the Thanos in the game where you could use the gauntlet and all that shit. Like Fortnite got so massive that everybody was using Fortnite as a marketing device.
So wait,
Yeah.
are you saying Fortnite's part of your honorable mention? Since we just talked about how revolutionary it is.
I mean, it should be.
I'll put it there because I played it a lot and I bought the season pass and I fucking
Yeah, you were into it.
I was into it.
Out of
and
all three of us, you were
and
into
I
it
would
more.
make I played that game so much.
Since you only had 9 of them, would you say this is your 10 or would you say Apex? If you had to choose between the two to make it to your top 10,
I play Apex more.
you would do Apex
Yeah.
as your
So
10?
the thing is that again, the building, I couldn't do building.
Yeah, agreed.
That's my hard. That was my biggest weakness when I was playing Fortnite. But the thing is, it was fun, like playing it. Like I had people to play with, and like we would play almost every night, and we would win at least once a day or whatever, you know. So it was fun because it was just like group thing I had with people. But yeah, that's pretty much it. My honorable mentions: these battle royale games that came out.
So my honor-
Wait, you wanna go?
yeah, a lot of mine got mentioned.
I'll mention.
You can go.
All right. So my honorable mentions are Fallout 4. At the end of the day, like for its criticism of like being 3 all over again, I played the hell out of that game.
But it's 3 with Minecraft building.
Yeah, which was kind of honestly at the end of the day, like it wasn't fully realized and not greatly used, I guess, in my opinion.
I agree.
But I really enjoyed the game. I really enjoyed the story of the game. And I just got lost in the world. Like for what, even though like, Bethesda has to learn now that like honestly, it cannot make a Fallout 4 the same. It can't make Fallout again the same way. It can't make Skyrim the same way. Like RPGs,
Things
like
have changed so
have
much.
advanced so much in terms of the last like couple years that like you can't do this again and expect people like, yeah, I'm gonna pay $60 for like the same shitty game.
It's like what happened when they did the
76, yeah, 76. Like it's a pile of trash. I played it. Me and you bought it. I think we both have it. 76.
Yes.
And it's just desolate. Like it's just empty. And
It is, but I understand that's the concept of it. So I'm kind of okay with it. I'm just glad I didn't pay for it.
Yeah, 'cause we
that's
both got it-
essentially
we both got it for
It's
free.
a great free to play MMO.
Yeah.
it is. But if I would have paid $60 for it at launch, I would have been pissed.
yeah, but even just that aside, like I did spend a lot of time in Fallout 4. I spent hours and hours playing it. I got through a story, and like the thing is with me, like I know a game left a mark on me when I beat the story. Like that's how pretty much
And you beat an open world game.
that
That's
I beat.
true.
Yeah,
You
because I
never do
don't.
that.
Because I don't really do that, and
You're like, oh, I get the game.
yeah.
I
get the
loop.
gameplay loop.
I get the gameplay loop. Yeah, there
Yeah.
you go.
And yeah, so for what it's worth, I feel like for sure it deserves a spot in my honorable mentions. I just felt like it was an overall like great game. All right, next one is Dead Space 2.
Dead Space 2.
Yo, you gonna do a fact check? See if it's on my.
I mean, it just sounds so old.
Let's see. I saw it on like somebody's list. I'm like,
Yeah, 2011.
2011, bro.
Whoa.
I don't like horror games,
cut.
but shit, man, is that game amazing? Like,
I never played the second one, but I played the first one. I was feeling it.
yeah, it's more of the same. Like, it's just a great
Yeah.
game of like,
It's a great concept.
yeah, and just what's
It's
revolutionary.
like, hey, do you like old Resident Evil in space? And
Yeah.
there it is. That's what it is.
Essentially, yeah. And I just overall, I loved it. I think it's just a fun game, a very scary game, very isolated game. It's literally one of my favorite horror games because I don't play horror games, so it's one of my favorite like series. I didn't play 3. Me and Mike were playing it, and then we like dropped it. Maybe we'll pick it up back and pick it up one day. But yeah, overall, I just felt like it was just a great action horror game.
The first one had a lot of psychological stuff. Does the second one kind of play into
Yeah.
more? That's great.
Yeah.
I like that.
Next game, I'm gonna just put 2 out here. The South Park recent series.
Oh, those are good, dude.
They're fucking. They're the funniest games I
I've
ever
never
played.
finished beating any one of them, but they're fun
I'm
games.
close to beating Fractured Butthole,
Yeah.
but I'm stuck right now. You have to fight cousin Kyle.
Wait, he got bigger?
Yeah, he's like, I'm back, and he's like really fat now, and he's like,
because I fought him twice already.
yeah. You have to fight. I forgot what part I'm at, but that game is just so fucking funny, dude.
Yeah.
Like so funny. Just as the humor is just as good as it is in the show.
Yeah,
if
it
not,
is.
if not funnier.
Yeah, it's so funny.
And just for that alone, like, just I forgot.
And it's raunchy too. Like,
It's raunchy.
I don't know how to get away with this shit.
Yeah, man. It's just so fucking funny.
And it's so simple.
yeah.
Like, there's nothing complex about the game.
Both of them are very easy to like play.
Yeah.
And just easy to like digest, and that's why like humor I think shines because like while things are happening, like jokes are being said,
Yeah.
and like you're not the gameplay's a bit easy, so you can like pay attention.
Yeah, I was mentioning to Pedro that there was you know they play in the street, they're fighting.
Yeah.
And then a car comes, like, oh, car's coming, and they all move to the side, and the car comes, like, get out of the street, kids.
Yeah.
And then you go back to fighting again. I love that idea of how they implemented that shit into the game because it's
Yeah.
still in their head. It's a fantasy they're creating.
I remember like there was a part where like you get out of like a school or something, and then like rednecks come. And they're like, we don't like your kind. And they're like, what kind? Cisgender male kind. Like what? Like, and you know, like it's about like the current like
The PC yeah, the PC culture.
PC culture, and like just like you know like, and it's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
Dude. It's just so funny.
It's good. I remember when you're selecting if you're like a straight or bi or what your sexuality essentially.
Yeah.
I guess if I remember correctly, he kept trying to say, "Are you sure you're not? You know, you're not bi or you're not this."
Yeah.
Like, no, man, I'm regular.
I remember there was some joke in like the police station about being black or something, and it was like it's just funny. Like it was just like I forgot what it was, but like it was just a racially like charged joke, but it was just really funny. And only South Park I feel can like
Can't pull that shit
can
off.
pull that shit and like
Yeah.
still make you laugh. Just for like humor
Oh,
alone.
I think it's just like, oh, you know what I'm talking about, because you try to capture a criminal or some shit like that,
I don't remember honestly.
and they're like,
but
you know the type of people we're looking for.
Yeah, so overall, just the humor alone, it deserves a spot for sure.
I love when you get your PC power. When you fight the politically correct gym teacher or whatever
Yeah.
it is, that you get an extra power from him. And then when you're fighting like people who like, oh, you're such a pussy, and you get this power of like you get damaged because he says something incorrect, offensive. Why you can't use women as a offensive measure, whatever, and you use a power against them like a counter.
Yeah.
Like it's so good, dude.
That's so funny. Next, Armo mentioned Arkham City for all the reasons Pedro mentioned. I just thought about one other game to add. So the NBA 2K series.
Yeah, you play that shit
I
a lot.
play that shit all the time.
Yeah.
I play it.
Sports. I can never get good at that game, dude.
Yeah, man.
Fuck. I get so frustrated.
And yeah, so
I stopped playing it.
I play it. I play the career mode. I play every year, so I'm not picking a year. I feel like they're all pretty much the same.
Yeah, they're all the same. All these
Yeah.
sports games are literally the same game.
So
with
yeah,
added things.
but I play every year. I play them. I don't buy the game when they come out. I wait until like $20 and I just play. I play with a friend of mine, so we play constantly. And yeah, just an overall great sports game. One of the best to do it.
Yeah, not even NBA Live tries
Right.
and tries and tries, and they can't get it right, dude.
Yeah, and like I was just like every year they just make gradual improvements. Where like, oh man, the character model is on point, or shit. Like I was playing against the Lakers like the other day, like a day ago, and I'm like, shit, the LeBron like fucking moves like LeBron, like he's moving like fast and swift and like
Yeah.
making like points of like he's like backing up, making like a random hook shot, like the character model is on fucking point.
Yeah, they are. They're really good, dude.
Yeah, so just overall good game.
How things would have been if EA didn't buy out the NFL license.
Well,
'Cause-
supposedly now the NFL is up for grabs for anybody. I think 2K is making an NFL game.
No, so essentially you still have this exclusivity of
NFL?
the NFL still has the EA still has the exclusivity for the NFL games.
Right.
Simulation. What 2K could do is non-simulation NFL games. So essentially arcade games like NFL Blitz or some shit like that.
Got it.
So they can't do Madden like
they
a Madden
They
like.
can't do like a sports career mode kind of thing where like
It can't be simulation. It
Right.
can't be. You can't simulate real life.
right. But you
have
can
to
do
be
it
arcadey.
arcadey, or
You could
cartoony.
use all the NFL things, but
Right.
it could be like a fun, like I like a special. I throw the bomb or whatever.
Yeah. That's
NFL
still
Blitz.
That's still
That's great.
That's still great.
But it's
because
crazy.
then you have two different type of
Two
games.
different types of NFL football games,
Yeah, so
which
that's
is pretty
fine.
cool. And I'm pretty sure 2K is gonna kill it because if you think about it, they had when NFL when 2K, I think they did 2K NFL 2K5
Yeah.
was to this day any NFL like video game person says that that's by far the best game ever.
Right.
Best NFL game ever, and it's because of that EA bought out the license, the exclusive license of NFL for like 10 years or
Right.
from what it is. So like that game was revolutionary, dude. They changed the game. Like they stole shit from that game too to put it in NBA, but no, they have never been able to reach the heights of old ass game, dude.
Yeah.
That sold for $20. You know what I'm saying? That game was amazing, dude. It was so good.
I never played it, but
I played the shit out
I'm
of that
excited to
game.
see what they do, and like just in general, NBA, the NBA series, NBA 2K series, just for what it's worth. I have problems with like the neighborhood and some way the way it's designed. Like I just hate like you have to like walk around a neighborhood to like go to places. I hate that. I wish you could
it's
just click on a
stupid.
menu and
Yeah.
just go there.
It's pointless.
But that alone, that aside, like I just think it's overall just a great series.
Yeah, it is.
My next game, another multiplayer game that I play a lot as well, is UFC 3.
No, I think I only played one with you.
I played at 2, and I'm currently playing 3 now. Like, it's just,
Have it gotten better?
yeah, they gradually get better, just like the NBA games do. The ground game is fucking hard,
Yeah.
and it's confusing. The ground game needs work. I forgot who had the license before. It wasn't EA. I think it was like 2K or something, or just like THQ used to make the UFC series, and they had the ground game perfected, in my opinion.
Wow.
But the fighting in that game, the boxing in that game is on point. Like I only play like online with one of my friends. That's all I do. But it's just a good game in the sense of like you can be down, you can be like losing the match and just one lucky hit. Just it. The one hit can change like the whole like. I was losing a match like yesterday, and I was getting my ass whooped, and I had like no stamina. And for sure, like if it went to decision, he would have won. For sure, if he got one lucky hit, he would have won. I was getting my ass. I got knocked down like a few times, but I just had one hit. And just the randomness of that game, like that one hit can change it all. Is that alone makes the game like exciting? Like every game, every fight is exciting.
Yeah.
Because I could go in and like one kick, 20 seconds in, just like the real UFC, you're out.
Damn. Yeah.
So just that alone, like every game, every matchup is exciting.
Yeah.
So, and like I don't think any like, because NBA is a slow burn in terms of like there's quarters and they all like I can always catch up in the end, and I always tend to catch up. I always do bad in the beginning, and then by the fourth I'm like either right about to beat you or I'm like I swept you.
Yeah.
But UFC, like right in the beginning, it's I could like either win or lose within a minute.
Yeah.
And there's and just the fact that I could do that game after game, it never gets old.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
guess so.
and I think that's it for my
That's
last
it for you?
two. Yeah.
David, you only had that one, or you thought of something
I've
else?
thought of a few more.
All right, go for it.
Hit him.
Because I'm a huge fan of like simulation games. Planet Coaster.
You were telling me to get it. I think it's on a Steam
Planet
sale.
Coaster is excellent. It's like
It's
the
like
spiritual successor to Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Oh, so
Like,
essentially you create your own park?
Yeah.
like
And
I
roller
have a
coasters?
vivid memory of like going to the fucking Scholastic Book Fair at middle school with $20 that mom and dad gave me, and I walked out with Roller Coaster Tycoon 3.
Shit.
It was so
You went in for a book fair and you left with a video game.
computer game, yeah.
What
Nice.
a millennial.
Nice.
But no, I mean, it's so comprehensive. Like it's incredibly detailed. You could like share assets with other people. You could build coasters and people could download them and put them
Oh,
in their
nice.
parks.
So
and
it's
you could make,
Sims-esque
like-
as far as asset
Yes.
sharing.
That's pretty cool.
You could build like literally any asset you want and share it with people. And yeah, it's super customizable. You can do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, I've been wanting to get that. I got to add it to my wish list so they can email me when it
People
drops.
are like recreating fucking Mordor in there in Planet Coaster and like Helm's Deep. Fucking
Oh, that's crazy.
That is insane.
yeah, that one's my other one is Overcooked.
Oh my
great
God.
choice.
Good job.
Great choice.
Wow, that game is amazing.
Overcooked. It's so
It's so
hectic,
simple and so
fun.
good.
Great party game.
Great party game. Very stressful. Yeah, chaotic.
Super duper fun.
Even if everyone sucks and you fail, it's still funny because you're laughing at
it's
someone.
hilarious.
You're like, well, you're burning the fucking burgers.
I love my little raccoon boy on the wheelchair. That's my dude.
Oh yeah.
I love him.
Yeah, that game is great, dude. I love that game.
It's like you have one job. Do the fucking fries. What are you doing with the lettuce? You know.
That game is easily friends become enemies in the sense of like you get so frustrated, like it's just
can be.
yelling. It's just constant
Yeah,
yelling,
like-
constant pandemonium. It's like right now, currently in the real world, like just chaos.
You're like, get out. I'll
Hey,
do
man.
the fucking fries
Best
and the
quarantine
burgers.
game right here, man. Best quarantine game. Get
great.
those 3
Yes.
stars. Get
Nothing
those
like
3 stars.
nothing like tempers rising to
Yeah.
get the quarantine going.
Yeah, that's all I got.
If you
Nice, great
That's good.
choices.
Wait, do you like 1 or 2?
I haven't played 2 yet, but 1 is already fantastic.
Yeah, 1 is
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
great.
No, good. And 1 is the one that started it all. So either
Yeah.
way, 1 would be the better choice, unless 2 is that much better.
Oh, I haven't played 2, so I would.
All right, so my honorable mentions. I know you guys have been shooting around Uncharted 3, and I am going to break that and say Uncharted 4 is the best Uncharted game of the decade.
oh, okay. I thought you guys say of all of them.
No, 2's of all,
Yeah.
but 2 doesn't make the decade.
No, it doesn't.
So, yeah, man, Uncharted 4, just the bromance between it, even though the brother that never existed for the first 3 games suddenly appears, and you're like, hey, but I mean, come on, it's fucking Troy Baker,
Troy Baker, man.
and he kills it, and just the relationship is so good because you're expecting something and it doesn't happen. It just feels great, and I thought the level design there was fantastic. Sure, it didn't have the amazing set pieces, but I thought consistently it had a really good level design.
Yeah. It's a beautiful
And
looking game, too.
the action scenes were so fucking good. Just those mini boss battles with like I forgot her name right now, but Nadine, I want to say. Man, that was
Right.
such a great scene. So that one to me, just for the story and the character development alone, I think Uncharted 4 takes the cake as far as best Uncharted of this decade. It could have done a little bit better on the set pieces, but I'm totally okay with the character moments I got. I put Skyrim on my honorable mention. I already mentioned. And I put Celeste as an honorable mention.
Damn.
I don't know if you guys have played that game, but it is so, like, the story is so fucking good. They wrap up this very complex story about, like,
Depression.
self-doubt, depression, just mental wellness, like, all together in this way of, like, face your fears. And they somehow hide that entire complex, crazy, relatable story into just kind of climb a fucking mountain. And it's just like, it's crazy. And then just the gameplay. It's just like the old school gameplay that I love so much about Cuphead. Obviously, they're two different, but it's just that the fact that it feels old school and you're like, oh yeah, these are the hardest fuck games. Mm-hmm. And yeah, when you're done, you just feel so satisfied with it. Like there's even something as simple as there are these hidden little strawberries throughout the game, and you're just like, fuck's the point of these strawberries? And they even tell you don't have to get the strawberries in the game. But at the very end, you get to make a strawberry pie. And depending on how many you got is how like big the pie is. So like if you skimp out, it's just like a pie with one strawberry on it. And you're like, oh, and even the characters get around the pie and they go, it's okay. But if you do like the perfect pie, everyone's like, oh, it's amazing. And then you're just like, oh, so it was kind of worth it just for that. Because you fall in love with these characters throughout the game.
And it's really pretty.
It is. It's absolutely gorgeous. I love so the character. So there's a character that you meet in there that he's a social media, Instagram like travel guy, and in the cutscenes he likes to take pictures of you, and he'll be like, "Oh, I'm posting this one." Well, he actually has an Instagram page, and you get to see the shots that he took in the game, which is super cool. I just started following him last week. I found out about this last week, and the Instagram page has been there since the game released, which is like what 2 years ago or something. So I was just like, "Oh my god!" I was missing a whole other part to the story. Next on my list is PT. I know it's not a full-blown game, but it's the best we're going to get. It is a playable trailer, and it's
iconic, man.
It's definitely iconic. And I know a lot of horror games now are copying it, but PT did it first. PT did that mind fuck of just... I don't know. You just turn the corner and you're like, holy shit, was that, did that really happen or not? And
yeah.
It's just,
even now, they're still finding things out about it. Like they found out basically that she's always been behind you.
Yeah. Right.
And
and that's how she's always breathing and whatever.
Right, because you always hear her and then you turn around and then like, but she literally is behind you. So when you turn around, she turns around with you.
Yeah.
So you don't see her, but then you hear her again and you're like, what the fuck?
It really is this amazing like phenomenon that, and now people are still selling their PlayStations on eBay because it's still on there because you can't download it anymore.
Yeah,
so
I still have mine.
I still have mine too.
Once they said like, hey, this is gonna go away and it will never.
Yeah, I have it backed up in a hard drive, so
Yeah.
in case it dies, I can put it into the next PlayStation because I love that game. I haven't played it in like the last year, but I remember a few people came over. I was like, oh, you got to see this, and I just popped it in, and they were like, nope, no thanks. So fucking good. As far as horror, that was the one that really like shouted at me like, damn, this is something. It's just unfortunate it never came from it. But even that little thing was amazing. So I can only imagine what the finished product would have been. It would have been just on a whole other level. Yeah. And to bounce off of that, I got the other Kojima game. I got Death Stranding as an honorable mention. That game, it has the Breath of the Wild type of exploration, but it's just a totally different concept. It's not combat based. You could do combat in there, sure, but it's not combat. It's not about you killing people. It's just instead of you, it's just a game about togetherness and trying to, just stick together, which is very funny in this time of like quarantine now that we have with this coronavirus. So there's a lot of jokes going on, like, oh, where's Sam Porter to go and like deliver my shit and all that stuff. So it just feels very relevant now.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love the gameplay. And it's that type of game that we can't have the mentality like, oh man, I'm wasting my time just doing this. But
yeah,
you have to kind of just go with it and just feel the story. Like there's so much stuff that I could have done as well, extra. But I was just like, no, I'd rather go in this direction and do these things. And then, yeah, I haven't 100%ed it, but I beat the shit out of that game. And I was like, this was really fucking good. And FYI, for those that are listening to this and want to play it, it's like a 2-hour ending. So if you're about to beat it and it's like really late, don't beat it yet. Save the game, wake up the next day, and then fucking beat it because it really is intense. This is long-ass cutscene, then there's credits, then there's an after credits, then there's an after credits. It's nuts. It was a fucking movie, but it was totally worth it. I love the story. I love what the game meant. And I love that Kojima tried to make something original. It wasn't as original as I thought it was going to be, because he was talking about a whole different genre. It's not a different genre. It's just Breath of the Wild delivery. But it's great. It's absolutely great. And that deserves a spot on my honorable mention list. Next on my honorable mentions, I got Monster Hunter World. I absolutely fucking love this
Yeah,
game.
you played the shit out of that one.
As far as what's that type of game you call? It's like that freemium game. What is that?
Games as a service.
Game as service. So as far as game as service types, this is the best.
Yeah, that game is
The
massive.
fact that you beat the game and then they're adding content constantly afterwards, and you're still like playing it. And I loved it. It's just so challenging that you can prepare for this monster battle, team up with people, and one wrong move and you fucking fail and you got to start again. Sure, it's frustrating, but that also adds to the excitement of like, I'm actually hunting something that's living, that's got an AI that's totally unpredictable.
That's dangerous.
Yep.
But completely unpredictable. Like, it'll never go the same way twice.
Never.
Even the tracks, they might mislead tracks on purpose. They're like, depending on how high the AI is of the monster. And yeah, man, it's just all these strategies. Of course, now at this point, because I played it when it was still within the first year. But who knows? Maybe people now have created a meta for certain monsters. And maybe they'll yell at you if you jump on. But just that sense of discovery, like, oh man, I'm going into this. Is this weapon good for this monster? I don't know. And you get rocked and you're like, well, I got to try that again.
Yeah, and also like it's one of those games where it literally is like a living, breathing world. Like you're after one monster, but there's monsters everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
And then you'll either like, oh, I have to, because everything on the clock basically. Yeah, we're basically at work, so you're on the clock. So you're like, all right, fuck this on. Let me get through this monster. And then you find the monster you're looking for, and then sometimes it's interrupted by another bigger
Oh, yeah.
monster.
Yeah.
That's happened so many times, and I'm just like, fuck you, I'm running out of time.
Yeah. So like it's just one of those games where like it just feels alive. It
And it's-
feels immersive.
Yeah.
Completely unpredictable. That's the main thing that I loved about it. Like you said, it is an actual living, breathing world. Because I played one of the previous ones, and it mimicked it, but I could still see like, okay, I see what you're trying to do. But in this one, I was like, nah, you guys fucking did it.
Yeah.
Like big time. And there's some shit that was unnecessary that they got rid of, and they made it more streamlined. And it was just overall a way better product. Completely. I put Shadow of Mordor as a honorable mention, and I put Horizon Zero Dawn as an honorable mention. And now my last honorable mention is very controversial. It's a Telltale's game, Wolf Among Us.
Oh yeah, you like that game.
I love Telltale's games. Obviously, there are some way better than others, but Wolf Among Us to me is the best. It just had this mood of just this 80s synth detective vibe, and I love those types of games, which is why I'm so excited for Disco Elysium, because if it has that vibe, I'm totally going to be down for it. But Wolf Among Us just had it, and then I'm a huge fan of the Fables comic series, which is what this is based off of. So if you like Wolf Among Us, totally read the comics. It's awesome. This is a prequel to it, so you could just jump into the game and you'll be fine. But it's just this great, dark, hard-boiled story about like these fairy tale characters living in exile in a part of New York that no one knows about. So I don't know, man. I loved it. It was just a great mystery. And of course, Telltale's always has that illusion of choice.
Yeah.
Where, you choose differently. The way you get to it is different, but overall, the ending is pretty much the same. Yeah, you still have that, but the journey is still great. And that's the end of my honorable
Let's
mentions.
do Mike.
All right, so for Mike, we have Hitman.
Hitman is good, dude.
Nice.
The
That remake
of
is
Hitman.
really good.
Yeah, the remake is good.
Oh man, it's fast. I got the version that has everything on it.
Yeah.
I played a few missions, but man, that game is so good, dude.
Yeah.
The way they did it, man. Oh man, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
After that, we have Bioshock Infinite,
Yeah.
obviously for obvious reasons. This game, next game, is pretty interesting. Dragon's Dogma, which I played a little bit of,
Never played it.
I played the demo and I loved it.
and the combat was just sick. Combat alone, like story, I think seemed a bit forgettable in my opinion. But
I remember that was one of the first games where I can grab onto the enemy and it'll fly up. And I was
Right.
like, oh shit, I'm really up here.
It just felt like not like Skyrim. I mean, not like Zelda, but it just felt like kind of like one of those like just the mobility that you have as a character.
Right. It was way before Zelda anyways,
right.
too. So.
Yeah. So it was just really good, really fun game.
Great choice.
XCOM Enemy Unknown
Yeah, it's the first one that you played.
that
around.
I played. That was really good. Halo Reach, which you're
Wait.
playing through the Halo series right now.
Damn, I guess Halo Reach was within. I just got the Game Pass. So
Yeah,
I'll be
which is
playing through
pretty solid Halo entry. For some people, it's their favorite one.
that. Oh, it made the cut 2010.
Yeah, for some people, it's one of their favorite ones, especially like how you see like this squad of like Spartans fall basically. It's one of the
Spoiler
only-
alert.
I mean,
And it had a big resurgence recently because of the Master Chief collection that came out.
yeah. Did you
yeah.
play it? Have you played them or
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
Well, I have Game Pass, so you could log in.
Next game is Red Dead Redemption.
Nice.
Said Red Dead Redemption, so we're guessing the first one.
AKA Red Dead 2.
Yeah, Armando. Red Dead 2. Great game. And the last one is The Witcher 3.
Yeah,
Which,
makes
So
sense.
of
pretty
course.
solid honorable mentions.
So,
Solid list.
David, I was going to tell you that Horizon Zero Dawn is going to be on PC. So if you want to play it,
Oh yeah, I probably will.
check it out,
And
buddy.
their photo mode is probably going to be amazing on
PC?
PC,
Oh, fuck
yeah.
because you're gonna spruce up the res and the
Yeah.
texture quality.
Yeah.
That's gonna be sick.
So
Because
check
I remember
that out when it
Orlando was
comes.
having some fun with that photo
yeah,
mode.
he really liked it.
Yeah, I actually did. I remember when we like kind of were active on our social media. I posted a
right.
few.
Yeah, I remember that. But all right, ladies and gents, that was our best of the decade list.
Let me tell you, we had a lot of different ones. I thought we were gonna be a lot more the same. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's pretty
I
good
was-
that we're pretty collected. I mean, obviously, when it comes to games, games don't release. I think games release a lot now. More,
Oh man, all the time.
But when you have a list of like top, there's always like this is
A consistency.
consistency. Like everyone's on the same page. These are like the top 5 of that year, the top 6 of that year.
Right, but when you do decade, that's where really what hit home for you.
Yeah. And I feel like we have a pretty good, especially with Book. Book is
Yeah,
probably the
man.
most not diverse, but the most out of left
Yeah,
field.
because it's
Sorry.
PC, you know.
no, which is good.
No, it's good. Like,
Trust me, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to play Three
Disco.
Houses right now because
yeah, I want to try that game you were talking about, the devil, whatever.
Was it Disco
the-
Elysium?
the- Disco Elysium?
Disco Elysium. I don't want to play it, but the other one you mentioned.
Oh,
The Divinity.
Divinity. Original
Divinity is
Sin.
also on,
I wanna play
on
that shit
console.
now.
Yeah, so
Yeah, so I wanna
yeah,
play
so
that.
like
Incredible.
this is for sure has led us.
he just wants to massacre a village.
yeah,
You can.
destroy them all. But let us know what you thought about our list. What are your top 10 video games of the year? Let us
Decade.
know of decade. Let us know if we missed anything, because we want to check some stuff out,
I'm sure we have.
especially now that Orlando has zero job
Yep,
and he has time to kill because the quarantine.
too much time.
So let us know. Feed us some info.
I'm putting in my applications for quarantine and chill if anybody wants to take up on the offer.
There we go. Till next time, everyone.
Bye bye.